Alrighty guys, let me go ahead and check everything is all working. I just want to make sure we're all good and we're ready to go ahead and get started with some more Grounded 1.3. So let's just go ahead and make sure audio is working. Seems that it is. I also want to just check my YouTube stream's working. You may hear double for a second. Yep, you are hearing double just for a second, but that's fine. Make sure that everything is working fine over there. It looks good as well. Okay, so yeah, we are streaming on we are doing a multi-stream again today. So yeah, it seemed to work pretty good yesterday. So hopefully it's going to be the same today, and we'll see how we go. But greetings everyone, well done to Natural Carnage for getting the gold cookie. Well done, dude. How's it going, Sekhmet and Tiny Pirate Gaming? Welcome in. Tiny Pirate Gaming of the Clan Gaming. How's it going, guys? Welcome in. I think we've given all the shout outs as well. Thank you kind of for giving Tiny a shout out as well. Very much appreciate it. And I think I've given you your one as well. And before we go ahead and get started, guys, you guys need to go and check out Coffee Queen because she's an absolutely amazing streamer. And if you guys haven't seen Coffee Queen, well, I definitely recommend you check her out because she's absolutely awesome. And she is the love of my life. She's amazing at crochet, and she also plays survival games just like I do. So yeah, we love very similar games, but Coffee Queen is even better because she does crochet as well, which is just, you know, really fucking awesome. So yeah, if you want to see like some amazing crochet projects, you've definitely got to go check her out. Please do, because yeah, you won't be disappointed. Currently she's working on an elephant. I think she's still going to do, like, she's mainly made most of the body parts. She still has to like do the ears, I think, and then she's gonna like put it all together. And then for new people coming into crochet, she's going to be doing a cushion cover. She's already making like 3 or 4 of them in like simultaneously. I don't know how she does it, but she is. And she's going to be doing one of those on stream as well at some point as well. So definitely check her out if you guys want to learn crochet for sure. What I might do is I may actually keep my YouTube stream up in the background here, just so that way I can occasionally, because I think for whatever reason sometimes my overlay doesn't get the chat messages, so I'm just gonna go ahead and keep this up just in case we see any chat messages come through there, because yeah, I just want to have that available just in case, because yeah, sometimes the overlay can be a little bit strange. And there we go. But let's go ahead and make our way into some playgrounds, because I guess we're gonna go do some more on the arena. And I know that Tiny, yes, I am on YouTube as well today. Yes, I am on both. Technically I can't say that because Twitch don't like it if you say you're on other platforms as well, because apparently it diverts traffic, so keep that on the hush hush. But yeah, I am there. I am as well. And there we go. Hey, yeah, okay, I see that one, Carnage. There we go. So Carnage is in 2 places at once. How's it going? All right, so yeah, I guess we're going to playgrounds. And yeah, so Tiny and Robbie were asking me a bit earlier how to make a randomizer. So I guess we'll go into make a new playground, just so that I can give this a go real quick, because I think I might have some sort of ideas to see how this goes. But let's see, let's go and do that one. I think everything is fine in the mode settings.
My name's Peter.
And we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll just call this testing grounds, right? So just so I can, like, make circuits and stuff and see how this all goes. Says we want randomizer tests. Yay! Yeah, so I know you were asking about the randomizers. So let's go and see how I think we can do this. So I have a couple of ideas on what we could do, and I think one of these ideas is actually be using the fan, as like using a mix of the fan and pressure plates in order to move a creature around and then select the random thing. So what we want to do, I think, let's go make it like a small area here. So I guess we'll put it in like a box somewhere, right? So let's go make like a floor, just so we can like put pressure plates on it and stuff later on. And I think what we'll do is we'll have this in the air as well. It'll be a bit easier. So we'll have it like in the air, out of the way of everything else. Because then I think if we do it this way as well, we can ensure that the bug spawn will be up here and doesn't spawn outside the confines of our randomizer. So if you're doing this up in the air and you don't want it to be visible, you probably want to put it like really high up in the sky or somewhere like out of bounds or something, so you make sure that nothing spawns. But this is what I think we could do. Actually, I'm going to use burr floors because I think they're slightly more friendly with pressure plates. So I'm going to use some burr floors. All right, let's go see what we can do. So we're going to go grab, let's see. So we obviously want to put some walls in here as well. So we're going to put some, what's the smoothest of the walls? I think the ash walls are probably the smoothest of them if we use these ones. Because essentially what I'm thinking is we can use a fan to kind of blow the bug around. So after it spawns, it will get blown around inside this thing. And okay, for some reason it deletes the entire thing. Okay, well, in that case then I guess we'll have to do it on the floor. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to do it on the ground then. I was kind of thinking, yeah, that's one thing they need to look into as well, is the fact that it doesn't delete, if you delete one thing from an airborne structure, it doesn't delete everything. that definitely seems like a bit of a bug, especially if you're like trying to build like a big up in the air construction, and then yeah, for whatever reason, just you know, deletes itself. But there we go. I guess we'll do it on the floor then. So we'll do it down here. I guess what we could do is we could make like some extra terrain to try and ensure the bugs don't spawn outside the confines of the area that we're trying to work with, because the spawner is a little bit the spawner is a little bit sporadic, but I guess we could just like have a manual bug spawn in here as well, so we can do that. But I want it to despawn once the random choice is selected, so the spawner is obviously the best way to do that. How you doing, Big Bear Wolf? Welcome to the stream, dude. How's it going? How are you doing today, dude? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for popping in. All right, let me make sure I'm all caught up as well. But yeah, we can do the randomizer stuff and see how that goes. Okay, so let me just check my so yeah, even though that might not be possible, I guess we could have a way to kill the bug as well. Actually, that's a good idea. We could have a way that kills the bug once the randomizer is selected. So if we make it like a lawn mite or something that's easily blown around, we could then have a shock pillar in the middle of it that kills the bug once the random choice is selected. And that, yeah, that would actually work, wouldn't it? I think that would actually work as a way to make this happen. So it would mean it's only a one-use randomizer though, so that might not be ideal for everybody. But you know, you could just duplicate this and make more of them. So yeah, we're going to use these walls. So I think these ones are the smoothest. And we're going to kind of do this. So here we go. So we're going to do this. And then what we want to do is then build up some higher flat walls as well. I guess palisades will do here. So we're going to do some palisade walls like this around the top. So let's go and do this. Yeah, I'm not like trying to make this look aesthetically pleasing or anything. So if it looks kind of crappy, it's just because we're running some testing purposes, right? Here we go. Is there randomized now? I don't believe there is. No. So we're going to try and make a manual one using a spawned in bug and pressure plates and a fan to like move it around in a cycle. So that'd be kind of cool. So let's see. So first of all, I want to spawn a bug into play mode and see how this works. So let's go get a fan first. I want to see if the fan can move entities. I know the bounce thing can. But I want to see if the fan can do it as well. So what we probably want to do is get this fan here, and we want it freestanding. And then let's go rotate the thing so that it faces this way, and we can come out here. Hey, we just got a raid from Iggy. Thank you so much for the raid, Iggy. Very much appreciated, dude. I literally just saw you live. Thank you so much for popping in. How are you? How was your stream, dude? I hope it went really well. Were you testing out the playgrounds in Grounded? Okay, so we got a fan here. So what we should find is if I spawn a bug in here, hopefully what we should find is it will blow the bug. We might have to lower the fan down in order for the collider to actually work. So I might have to put it like lower down. You do have to be quite precise with your placements for the fans, because I've noticed if they clip into walls too much, they won't actually move the entities. So, but yeah, it looks like yeah, okay, there we go. So yeah, it looks like it does blow the handy net. So in that case, then I think we can safely assume it's going to move a bug as well. These Nuggets is like, dude, how's it going, Nuggets? Welcome in. And how was your stream, Iggy? Says would have thought Grounded was says who'd have thought Grounded was a game about bugs? Just currently the wrong kind of. Yeah, exactly right. I know there's been some issues, hasn't there? But I'm sure the dev team are working on them every now and then, so it should be good. Okay, let's go and see. And hey, it's a Gummy Queen. Hello, baby.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right. But yeah, we're trying to make a randomizer. Because Tiny and Robbie were just like, how do we make a randomizer? Like, we got all these ideas, and I was like, okay, let me think about it. So yeah, we're trying to make one in Playgrounds and see if it works.
Yeah, okay, good luck.
Thank you, baby. So we'll go and put another fan like right here. Does that blow the handy net if I'm near to it? Yeah, so that blows the handy net this way. Okay. So essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to make 4 fans that kind of cycle it around in the square. So it's not a true randomizer, but it's like it's going to give you a pseudo random number, I guess, because like it's going to cycle between 4 states, right? And then whichever, like, as long as you keep this invisible to the player, it's essentially going to be random, isn't it? So we're going to go and put a third fan like right here in this wall. So we're going to put a third one like over here, so it's kind of aligned there. That red hoop is kind of helping me align it as well. So now what we should find is if I fly down here, it should push me that way, and then it'll push me that way, and then that way into this one. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, right? And then we can kind of we can kind of use like some walls to kind of guide them around a bit. So we'll see how this goes. Iggy says, I got to let them know the ones I've noticed. Yeah, I'm sure they'll appreciate any kind of bug reports because they're looking to do like a lot of fixes at the moment. So yeah, definitely let the devs know and see if you can help them fix stuff, or at least provide enough info about the bug you're experiencing to get them onto the fix. I think they are accepting bug reports, but I think they prefer support tickets into the actual email address itself. So I would look at sending them a support ticket if you're wanting to report bugs. Right, so now what we should find is hopefully this thing will push them that way, that will push them this way. Yeah, so I think we need to lower the power of these fans just a little bit, but let me go and see. Yeah, I think we need to lower the power of these just a smidge. So what we'll do is we'll put the power to like, let's put the power to like 50% on each of these, right? So we'll put the power to 50% of these because obviously like we don't want the fan to completely blow these things away. So I'll put it to 50 here. So let's try this one. So let's see if this could potentially work. So essentially what I want to see is if we can essentially blow a lawn mite around this area. That's essentially what I want to try. So let's see how we do this. Here we go. And thank you kind of for giving Iggy a shout out. Very much appreciated, dude. Okay, so let's go spawn in. We'll just have a manual spawner here. So it's not going to be like a time spawner because, you know, we need to make sure that this works. Or we could even have like a Taze Tea spawn because I think they can trigger pressure plates as well. Couple of Vogue quests I've noticed. The one to make 5 smoothies, I made 5 but it only accepted 1. Not sure if it's somehow linking with the 4-second cooldown on heals that you need to make the smoothies individually to count inconvenient. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, it might be. But yeah, the 4-second cooldown though I think is a necessary thing because they also made it so that the heals give you more. Actually, I wonder if we can just blow a Weevil around. So if I was to spawn a Weevil in here, like there. Wait, is it going to spawn? There you go. Right, so if I now go into the playtest mode, oh, I'm kind of spawning the wall. Is it moving the wheel around? He's kind of got stuck there. Okay, so he kind of got stuck. Okay, I need to kind of get out of this. Oh, okay. Now I'm stuck in the wall. There we go. Hey, there we go. So yeah, it looks like the Weevil kind of gets stuck, and he doesn't really go anywhere. Oh, he's stuck in the floor. That's why. Okay. So let's see. We probably need to spawn him higher up so that he drops down. So we'll do this. So let's kind of do. We'll do a spawning like right there. There we go. Right. Let me go out of my handy net here. And I can just like drop down here, and then I guess I'll have to like make a manual platform like that because I don't think you can go to the handy net during playtest. So let me just make a quick stairway up here and we'll just see if this works. And we'll see if the Weevil gets blown around. The other one is the weak points. I have to hit ants in the eyes or the bumbles, but more than 5, not completing the quest. Yeah, I've noticed there are still some as well. But yeah, if you report all those, I'm sure they'll get to them eventually. So yeah, I would definitely look at getting that reported as soon as you can. But yeah, use that email inbox and just make sure you also mention stuff like what platform you're on. So like, you know, using Xbox and, you know, because it might only be for like the consoles and not the other stuff. Where's my build pieces? Here we go. So yeah, it might be like only for consoles or something. Here we go. So, you know, because sometimes that does happen. Like the stuff that happens on console is kind of exclusive to console, and it doesn't happen on other things. Right. So I need to go turn my rotated this way, and then I can rotate these stairs around. Here we go. So we'll go do that, and we'll push this up over here. How you doing, Legionnaires? Welcome in, dude. Haven't seen you in a while. How you been, dude? Always supplying those pickles. How is it going? Right, let's go do this. Right, we'll come up here. Right. So is the Weevil getting blown around now, or has he? He's kind of just disappeared, hasn't he? Okay, hang on. Let's go into playtest and see what the hell happened to him. So where did he go? So yeah, where even did the Weevil go? Did he despawn? Maybe I removed his spawn by accident. Hold on, go into handy net real quick. I did have him right here, didn't I? Oh yeah, he's right there. Okay, so there, I see him right there. So yeah, let's go back up here, and yeah, so let's see what happens. So if I do this guy, oh, does he spawn outside? Or did he get blown away? I think he got blown away. Okay, so I still think the fan's too powerful, because if I come into here, it kind of pushes me this way. It pushes, because this is what I'm thinking, like, it'll push me this way, this way, this way, and this way, right? So we need some kind of entity in here that's going to get pushed around, because this is how I think that this randomizer will work. Lisa says, busy as ever. Says, my mate last on the wire was more buried into the wire than was seen in your stream last night. See, that could, I reckon then that could be like that could be a console bug, maybe. Okay, so maybe we need a heavier entity than the Weevil. Maybe the Weevils are too light. So why don't we try, I don't know, why don't we try an Orb Weaver Junior or something like that? Let's try a Junior. All right, so then we'll come back up here. Oh, okay, killed my net up there for some reason. Okay, so yeah, we'll try a Junior and we'll see if this works. Because yeah, if we keep the spawn off the ground, hopefully he won't spawn in the floor. Why is it not letting me? I am in playtest mode, right? Yeah, okay, hang on. Maybe I gotta fly like right up here, then do it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so sometimes it doesn't always reposition your character when you remove the handy net. But yeah, sometimes it does. And D's Nugget says, I've noticed things aren't showing up when trying to craft smoothies and upgrading items. So I'll get that ticket then. Yeah, there's a few random things that are going on for sure. Okay, but here we go. So let's see now. If I go into play mode now, does the spider get blown around? No, he just kind of jumps and then... Yeah, okay, so he's able to push against the fan. So it can't be a hostile creature then. It has to be a neutral one. Okay, so it can't be a hostile one because that'll just aggro on the player. Okay, so I guess we have to choose a neutral one, like a ladybug or something. Tasties will try and go for you. See, I guess it'll have to be... I guess we'll have to choose like a neutral one. So maybe... I don't know if it's going to be able to move a ladybug. Maybe a red workaround. Let's try that. Can a red workaround work with this? Let's see. Let's go into play mode again.
Hey, a common example
There
of
you go. So the red workaround is... Okay, so these guys are not affected by the fans, it seems. Okay, well, there goes that idea. So I was kind of thinking these guys would... be affected by the fans, but it looks like they're not. Unless the fan is too high to affect them. Because it doesn't look like it's blowing them that way. That's what I was kind of hoping. It would, like, blow the... Yeah, blow them that way. Oh, it looks like it's kind of doing something, but not quite. It still seems like... Okay, so I wonder if the fans have to be lower to actually move them. Okay, maybe the fans have to be lower in the thing to move them around. So we might have to just go into the middle here. Yeah, I see, yeah. So right here is like a dead spot, isn't it? Like, there's a dead spot right here. This fan is working. Yeah, so there's... I think it kind of got caught in this dead spot right in the middle. Okay, so let's try something here. So we want to go... I think we need to move this fan downwards slightly. Can I not interact with this to move it? Oh, I can. It's just not highlighting. But yeah, so yeah, I can definitely see it's getting kind of caught here. Okay. But yeah, it's kind of really hard to position these things because the fans also move you. Okay, I guess we need to go into HandyNet and try it with that. Okay, so we kind of need to move this thing, I think, a little bit forward and a little bit down so that it's in the floor. So it actually hits the bug at the floor level, right? So we probably need to just move them down just slightly. So maybe there. Yeah, let's move all these down because that might then affect the ant. Because I don't think this one was actually doing anything to it. So we might need to just move this guy down. Yeah, I think that one's too high, right? So you probably got to move that down to there. That one there probably needs to go down as well. So yeah, all these just need to kind of be clipping into the floor just a bit. There you go. So you need that one, that one, that one. There you go. Move that down. Yeah, you got to be... I think you got to be quite precise on the placement here. So yeah, if we move all these down, hopefully that will then encourage it to work a bit. So we'll try it. I guess we'll try it. So yeah, those are now more in the ground. So let's go into... Let's kind of come out of this mode and then go up the stairs. And then we'll see now if the red workaround gets blown around. Let's see. Okay, did it even spawn in? Okay, no, it got caught up on there. Okay, did it spawn randomly then? It does. I think it actually spawns randomly. Because this time it spawned somewhere else. Okay, so the spawner isn't quite accurate. Okay, but once it's here, it kind of gets blown over that way. And then it kind of gets stuck over there.
Common example of the Formicidae family.
But yeah, it looks like it kind of gets blown around, and then it sort of gets stuck in these areas as well. Button link to a creature spawn, random spawn then? Maybe, yeah. Maybe a creature spawn randomly. But the creature spawner is also not that great either, because it will spawn something. But yeah, the ant tries to jump out here, and it kind of goes over that bit. So yeah, I think there's issues with this one. So yeah, this one might not work as well as I hoped it would. Honestly, I was kind of hoping the Weevil would work, but maybe we need to spawn the red ant in the middle, and then just let it kind of get pushed out. So maybe, or let's try a Weevil again, because I think the Weevil will get pushed around more easily. So hang on, did I choose? No, I chose the workaround again. Let me try a Weevil again. Because this guy will get pushed. At least this guy gets pushed around a bit more easily, right? So yeah, maybe we have to spawn him in the middle, and then he will hopefully spawn and drop in at this point. So now let's try that. So if we try that,
Consulting Detective Weevil, hot on
does he
the
get
trail.
blown? Or does he get blown?
He's got a nose for the truth.
He does, but yeah, as you can see, the fans... Okay, so maybe we do need to increase the fan's power, because it's not able to blow him very far, and he kind of... You know, his walking animation can kind of get over the fans. So yeah, looks like we do need to increase their power again to 100%, so we'll try that. Let's see how we go. So, yeah, maybe we didn't need to turn the power down. So we'll go into... Let's go back into HandyNet, and then we'll just re-increase the power of these back to 100% again, because yeah, that's... I think the Weevil is strong enough to walk against the fan. So if we increase the power again, maybe that'll be enough to move him around completely. Okay, now let's try. So if we do that,
Consulting Detective Weevil,
does he now get
hot on
blown?
the trail. He's got a nose for
He
the
kind of
truth.
does, but then again, he kind of doesn't as well. He kind of gets pushed between this area. Yeah, you can see he's very powerful. He's able to actually walk against the fans. But I mean, it's still kind of randomish. But yeah, as you can see, it's like, I guess what we could do, because he's able to walk between all four of these areas. So this sort of works. This actually does sort of work. Right, okay. So that's something. But he stays in the area for like a pretty long time. But then eventually he does kind of navigate, because he walks randomly, he kind of navigates over to other areas. Maybe just having a Weevil on his own will be enough. Maybe just literally having a Weevil on its own will be enough to make it go round. So maybe, okay, maybe the Weevil is the answer then. If we just delete the fans, maybe he can just walk randomly around this area. Okay, let me try that. Maybe the Weevil can just walk randomly around. Let's see. It says fans on the timer. Yeah, maybe fans on the timer as well could work. It just depends. Ooh, fans. Yes, we do have fans, Nino. How's it going? And Gloves, welcome in as well. How are you doing? But yeah, fans on the timer could be a solution. But yeah, what does the Weevil do if he's just in here? He kind of goes. See, I think these floors are actually getting him stuck. I think he's actually getting stuck between these parts of the burr floors. Okay. So, in that case then, what if we remove the burr floors? Does this make it smoother? Obviously, I have to put some walls down a bit lower. So, does removing these burr floors make it easier for the Weevil to traverse the terrain? Let's see. Why can I not put stuff on? Oh, I've already made it down there. Yeah, okay. So let's go and like fill these walls in here. So if I put a Weevil down now, let me see. So okay, here we go. Let's just like spawn a Weevil here. Here we go. It's stuck on the floor. Yeah, I think that might be it. So maybe yeah. Okay, hang on. Let me undo all that real quick because I can just Control Z everything, right? And we just undo. Wait, can I not undo anything else? Oh, am I stood in the way of something? Hang on. Cannot be... Hang on. Cannot be... I can't read that underneath. It's stuck on the... Yeah, it's stuck on the floor edges. Okay, yeah. So you know what? Let me put the fans back again. I want to see now if now that we've removed the floor, if it'll be smoother. Maybe now it'll be smoother. So we can try that, and then we can put the Weevil in again and see how we go. But yeah, I don't know why it wasn't letting me undo all that removal stuff, so that might be just randomly bugged or something, but I guess we'll find out. So yeah, we'll go for a fan again. Here we go, so we'll put a fan in, and then we'll kind of angle it, reset rotation, and then angle it this way. And yeah, we want to kind of like put it into the floor a little bit, right? So we got to do it like, just so it pokes out the wall a bit, and then it's into the floor. There we go. Okay, and that then blows me this way up to this point here. Right, okay, there we go. And then we're going to flip it over. and do one over this side. So yeah, okay, maybe this will work, because I know it seems to work fine with players, but yeah, bugs seem to have an issue going on these things. How you doing, Melrock? Welcome to the stream, dude. How's it going, dude? He's like, my birthday in 2 days on Sunday the 5th. Remember? The 5th of November? Yeah, I know the movie reference. You always know movie references. You know movie references that I don't know. But yeah, I hope you're going to have a good birthday, dude. And thank you so much for those bits. It's very much appreciated. How are you doing today? All right, so let's try and put a fan like here. And then we need to do a horizontal rotation. And then we kind of need to run over this way, don't we, to get the fan in this one. They also have to, like, we're going to have to, like, stand against the walls to kind of position them properly. That should be all right. So we'll put another one, like, right here. Okay, is that able to blow my character here? It kind of doesn't, it kind of doesn't. I think we need to put this one lower down. So that one's going to kind of, yeah, I think that one's going to kind of like come out a little bit and get blown lower down a bit into the floor here. So I guess like, is that the fans are a little bit finicky, but I think they are the answer. Yeah, then my player gets blown this way. We get blown that way. Yeah, as long as the player character motion is smooth, it should be okay. Okay, so can I... If it, when you're in the air, it's a lot more powerful, right? So unless we have to like make the Weevil airborne as well, which might be kind of funny, but yeah, I think this is somewhat the solution. I think to get the Weevil to move around smoothly. So you don't want to use burr floors then, because they sort of get stuck. But we can use this now. I know it's not a completely even surface, but now hopefully we stand in this, it should push me around a bit. We kind of get stuck on them though. It kind of depends where we are. Because I'm not even walking now, it's just pushing my character. Yeah, so we get stuck on this one. So this one's got to move back very slightly. So that one's got to go, like, very slightly backwards into the wall here so we don't get stuck on it. So, like, there, just a little bit. Yeah, that goes slightly backwards. There you go. And now hopefully we don't get... And now we get stuck on this one as well. So that one's got to go slightly back in to the wall too. So I guess, like there, so we don't get stuck on it. Or do we still get stuck on it? So if we go here... Looks like we're fine. That one's all right. We could put blocking volumes in here as well to stop that as well, but that doesn't work on regular stuff. Thank you so much for your alert, Crusty Queen. Welcome in, by the way. I hope you're doing well. I'm in a lot of pain because it went from 90 degrees to 40 in one day. Yeah, see, this seems to kind of work, but also it still seems to get stuff caught in it as well. The fans are very finicky, but blocking volumes only work with players and not creatures. So you can't use a blocking volume to prevent a creature from going into an area. So we need to do that. Does that still blow if I'm like through here? It still does. Okay. So yeah, they got to be like kind of half in the wall. Okay. So now let's go into Handy Net real quick. And right, I don't know if my Weevil spawn stayed. I don't think it did. So no, you can see my player character like moving around. That's actually quite funny. You can see them moving there. Okay, so let's go out of here. Let's just drop to the stairs. And again, we're going to put a Weevil spawner in, and I want to see now if he moves around just in a circle. So let's see if this works. So we'll go get a Weevil spawner, because I think like ladybugs will be too heavy, right? So Weevil spawner can go like in the middle somewhere, and he should be like roughly here. That'll do for now. Let's just test. So we drop this guy in.
Consulting Detective Weevil.
Does he get blown about? Let's see.
He's got a nose for the truth.
So yeah, he kind of gets stuck on that bit, and he doesn't quite navigate to the other one. See, that's kind of weird, that, isn't it? It's a little bit strange. Thank you, kind of, for giving Metarock a shout out. Very much appreciated. So it seems, is he even getting stuck on floors, or is he just like walking randomly? Is the fans even affecting him? Let's find out. Let's go ahead and take down. Go and take these down and just put the Weevil in. Maybe the solution is simpler and we just use the Weevil itself. Okay, let's try that. So go to Handy Net, come up to here, and then we'll go and see if the Weevil just walks randomly, because this might be enough to have him walk randomly, right? So let's see. Does he now? Does he now go randomly? Yeah, I think he's getting caught in part of the terrain as well. Like he's a little bit strange. But yeah, he'll kind of go. Yeah, you see what I mean? His AI kind of gets a bit confused, and he just goes a bit nuts, and he stays in one spot for a while. But he does seem to walk across. I just want to see if he gets into all four corners. It looks like he will eventually. Okay, so that could work. Aphids may work, but they also get scared by the player. And the Weevils always tend to walk around, whereas Aphids will stay still for a while. Weevils always tend to move. So I think this could work, actually. I think, something like this could work. It's just a bit of a slow a slow process. We could try other things though. So if I go ahead and okay, let's see. If I go ahead and take this off. Okay, so Weevil is a potential candidate for a randomizer. Potentially, but we'll see. Trial lava, that'll be hilarious. Yeah, the thing is, I can't really use hostile creatures because they'll just aggro on the nearest player, and some of them even aggro through walls as well, which is a little bit of a pain in the butt. But yeah, let me go to HandyNet real quick, and let me try something. Okay, so my theory is, what we should be able to do is get pressure plates, and let's see how this goes. So we'll get some pressure plates. And we're going to put all these down in the base of the... we'll put these down in the base here. So I need to kind of make these level to the ground. And we kind of want a load of these. So I think we can fit one per section. So we should get a total of 16 pressure plates in a section this big. Obviously, you can make a smaller one if you just wanted like a 3x3 one. But I think we'll do 16 pressure plates like this. So what we can do is we can kind of put these in. Actually, what I will do is I will... Yeah, they need to fix the crosshair on the HandyNet not always being in the right spot. I'll put this to low weight and then we'll dupe this, right? Because that's the best thing to do. Okay, so we're going to do this one and then we go ahead and do this. And then we're going to go ahead and dupe all these around the edges. Here we go. So yeah, we could probably make if you need less, then it'll probably be, it'll probably be less, but that's fine. I want to see, essentially... So what we want to do is when the pressure plate is triggered, it's going to flip a switch that corresponds to a light, because we obviously need to store which state is currently active, actually we need to store what the last active state was, because if there's a point where it's between two pressure plates, an AND gate is not going to work, right? So we need to it's going to be a little bit complicated, but we should be able to figure it out. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put pressure plates down like this. All right, now we'll put another Weevil in, and let's see how this works. Let's see what we can do. How you doing, UK Monster? Welcome to the stream. How's it going? And how you doing? Chapflax, welcome in. Says, what's new? Played it to the end and have nothing to do after. Well, in the new update, we've got a new Playgrounds feature, which essentially allows you to make your own custom maps. And you can do all kinds of like interactions and things. So if you're looking to like make your own arenas or parkour courses and stuff like that, then this mode will be very, very fun. So there's not that much new for survival. They did overhaul the questing system a bit, and now all gold cards are also required for 100%. They even added a koi fish gold card now as well, which is kind of cool. So yeah, they've added a few things for survival. There's also a new secret area behind the pond wall that has like this random door. It doesn't lead to anything yet, but I'm assuming that's coming in a future update maybe. But yeah, there's a couple of like secrets and stuff that's going on. But yeah, currently we're working on trying to make a randomizer. To see how this is gonna work. So yeah, we're seeing how we go. How do you get a gold card for the koi? For the koi, you just peep it, and it will give you the gold card automatically. Says thanks. Sadly, not interested for me. I'm hope to new areas and enemies, etc. Okay, so when it comes to that, the reason they can't really add many new areas and stuff at this point is because they're still supporting Xbox One, which has much more limited memory capacity compared to the Xbox Series X and S. And essentially, they have to make sure that the game runs on even the lowest end system so that it can perform optimally. So essentially, at this point, they're kind of at a wall with their memory. So they're working more so on like optimizing first before they can really add new stuff. So I wouldn't expect too many new areas, or like you might get a new creature or two, but like full-blown new areas, I wouldn't expect too much, unless of course they overhaul this yard into something else as well, which they could do. They could very well do that as well. They might overhaul the yard into something a little bit different, but we don't know. So yeah, I wouldn't kind of hold your breath on it just yet. Can we not adjust these switch keys, or do I have to be out of HandyNet here to adjust these? So I think these are always on by default, aren't they? So I think what we need to do is set a button to turn all these off, and then go from there. So yeah, it's a little bit weird. Okay. Actually, what we should probably do instead is instead of the switch gate, because you can't configure a switch gate. We should probably use a counter with a condition, right? So what we'll do is we'll have a counter with a condition, and we want it to be equal to 1. Okay, so then essentially what we're going to do is when something steps on the pressure plate, it will increment the counter, and then when they're not on the pressure plate, it will decrement the counter back to 0. So that will probably be the best thing we can do. So we're going to go dupe these. I should probably make this I should probably make this a little bit smaller, but you know, because there's going to be a lot of connections with this. So yes, the theory behind this is kind of complicated, but I guess we'll see. I guess we'll have to see how this goes. Okay, because yeah, we're gonna have to set up. Essentially, we're gonna have to set up a lot of links. Like the more you have, the more links you're gonna have to set up. Essentially, we're gonna have like there's gonna be 16 links per switch, and then obviously, so yeah, we're gonna have like something like 250. Yeah, this thing's gonna have 256 links, which I think is gonna be a little bit too much. So we may have to make this smaller in the end. Unless we set them all to a timer to then decrement back to 0 if the pressure plate is... Actually, that's probably a better idea. If the pressure plate is off, it's probably going to take less than a few seconds for the... It'll probably take less than a few seconds for a Weevil to get between these to decrement the stuff as well. So, yeah. But, yeah, essentially what we're going to do is when it steps on the pressure plate, we'll have a link here. And then we want to go ahead and just increment the counter, right? So, yeah, when it's on there, we do that. And then when they're off the pressure plate... I guess for now we don't do anything. And then we're gonna have to kind of set up a link like that for each one for the counters. Because the thing is we got to keep track of which pressure plate is pressed when the button is pressed. And that is going to be a little bit complicated as well, because yeah, I got to think like, okay, what we probably want to do. Let me make a smaller subsystem of this. I'll make like a 4x4 because it'll probably be easier to manage in a smaller space. So yeah, we'll start with a smaller variant of this first, and then if this works, then we can then you can scale it up to as many links. But for every extra random option you add, you're gonna have you're gonna have more and more links like happening. So. Let's see. So we'll start with a smaller variant, and if this works, then you can make it as big as you want. Just be prepared to make a lot of links. But yeah, we can go ahead and increment this by 1. So it starts at 0. If it's equal to 1, it's going to output a signal. Pressure plate weight is set to low, which is fine. And then on off, it just doesn't do anything. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so we don't want it to decrement the counter when they step off the pressure plate. We want it to decrement the counter if they go to a different one, right? And actually, these should probably be greater than 0, not equal to 1. Just in case it steps off the pressure plate and then back onto the pressure plate, it might increment the counter more than once, right? So we want it to be greater than 0 in this case. And then yeah, so again, we'll set that greater than 0. And we'll try this and see if this works. Okay, so then we'll go and do another one. And let me kind of move this over into here. There we go. So you can kind of move the pressure plate a bit more centrally. You could also use regions for this as well. So like you could actually no, you could if it was a player but not a creature. I just remembered. Players don't support the creatures don't have like the collisions with the regions, unfortunately. So you can't use those kind of region detectors like you can with players. But hopefully in the future we'll be able to set that creatures can trigger them as well. But yeah, so it's going to increment right that and decrement. Okay, so that's essentially what's going to happen. So essentially, as soon as something sets on the pressure plate, it will increment this counter by 1. Now the next thing we want to do is make it so that if they don't step on the pressure plate, and if they step when they're off the pressure plate, nothing happens. But if they step on another one, it resets all the other counters to 0, and then increments the one they're stepping on by that one, right? So say if they step on this pressure plate right here, this one will turn into 1 or higher, and then all these other 3 need to reset back to 0. So from this pressure plate, we're going to have to set 3 links from this one to these. So you need 1 to there, 1 to there, and 1 to there, right? And then we are going to say that in this case, it's going to set a value, and that will be set back to 0. Now, when the counter gets a set value, it doesn't send a signal, which is actually a very nice behavior with the counter. So essentially, yeah, when they step on this one, we want it to do nothing, and then yeah, set value to 0. There you go, because you can customize what value it gets set to, which is really cool. So yeah, if we're going to set a value, and then this will turn back to 0, and then yeah, we just got to do this for every. We got to do this for everyone. So that's the first one, and essentially we got to do the same thing. This is why, like, as you're adding more and more of these, the circuit's going to get more and more complicated, right? But by doing this, we should be able to do it for each one. So yeah, at least there's not as many to do this time. Because yeah, you'll have to set up this link every time for every single one. So if you want a big randomizer that can select between 16 different states, then that's fine. But what you could also do is you could probably like increment it better by making smaller 4x4s and then taking the output of that one to then decide what your counter value is going to be, right? So you could probably do that as well to simplify it a little bit. So you can set value to 0, Let's make sure that's actually set correctly. Yes, this will then set it back to 0 when they step onto another one. Can I access that link there? Yes, I can. And that's going to set value to 0. That one is already set. And then that one needs to be set value to 0. Yeah, I just want to make sure all these 3 are set together and properly. Yeah, as long as I see like the little gear icon, because yeah, this is another reason why it's going to be a little bit complicated to do these, because you're going to see. You're gonna see that it just gets a little bit crazy, but I think we've set all these so far, so that's all these 6 done. But yeah, as you can see, the arrows start to like cross over each other, and it makes it a little bit weird. But you know, it's not terrible. It would be nice if we could like copy a link and then kind of do that as well. I think that one is fine. So yes, this one we need to do. So yeah, that's going to be set value. Oh, is it actually doing it for me now? Oh, maybe it is actually. So I think if you do it once, it kind of makes it do it automatically. So yeah, we just gotta check each of these 3. So I think it actually assigned it by default, which is kind of cool. So I guess if it sort of remembers the behavior you're setting, and then this one, of course, we need it to do to these ones. So we need to kind of link across like that, and like that, right? So then this one, I think, yeah. So this is already set. On activated, on deactivated does nothing. So yeah, I guess it remembers the last thing you programmed to it. So I guess doing a 16x60 won't be so bad. But yeah, essentially that's what we're gonna get out of this. So what we need to do next is go into HandyNat, and we're gonna take this signal that we've got now, and we're gonna link all of these essentially into a logic gate right here. So into one of these switch gates. I guess I'll take it outside the system, and then essentially we want to link each of these counter with conditions that are looking for a signal greater than 0. So yeah, the HandyNat is. Let's go in first person, so it's a bit easier to see what I'm looking at. There you go. So we'll go into this one. I'm so glad they added the first person HandyNat. That's really good. So essentially, what we want to do is we want to send a signal into this thing, and when it happens, we want to evaluate. Actually, do we want to evaluate, or do we just send the signal out? I guess we evaluate to see if we've got a signal, but that'll be I think we need to evaluate to see if we've actually got a signal first, right? So that's one thing we need to do. So because that's going to essentially, this gate here will give out a signal based on whether you've got something in the randomizer. So say if the Weevil stayed in the middle and didn't do anything, we'd obviously have a non-random thing, so this thing would have to return that no, we haven't got anything, right? So we need to make sure that situation is accounted for. So we do need to at least send all these signals into an OR gate as well to make sure it's done. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and move this over here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and queue up some lights over here, and I want to see if we can do this. So let's go get a light, and let's go put this here, because if it works with lights, it will work with everything else, right? So we're gonna go get some lights here, and actually what I'll do is let me turn it to nighttime as well, so it's a bit easier to see. So we want playground settings, and then we'll just set it to be like late at night somewhere, except that, because then it'll go dark and it's easier to see when a light will turn on. And then what we do is we make one of these lights activate based on the random state that it's in. So let me go ahead and grab a light. We can get 4 lights here, and I guess we'll use these wall sconces. So yeah, we can be random state 1, 2, 3, or 4, right? So then what we want to do essentially is we want to link each of these counters to one of the lights as well. It would be nice if we could label these, but unfortunately we can't. But yeah, we're gonna link this to a light there. And essentially, when this one is linked to the light, we're going to say, essentially, it's going to, when the condition passes, it turns the light on. And then I think when the condition resets, or do we need to link this to the OR gate first to turn the light on? I think we do, actually. I think we need to link these. Yeah, this is why I needed the OR gate, yeah. Because when the thing resets and evaluates into the AND gate, it's going to... Because we're setting a value to 0, it will not reevaluate this, so the light will actually just stay on, which is actually something we don't want to happen. Because yeah, like I said, the counter will not do that. So what we need to do actually is set up a series of AND gates as well on the end of this. So yeah, this is where the things get a bit more complicated. So we need to go ahead and get one of these again, instead of being set to any. These need to be set to all, right? So we're going to set that to all. Because what we need to do is we need to check that we got a value greater than 1 here, and that this thing has received a signal, and that one of these things has been pressed. I think that's... But will that reevaluate when the counter's set to 0? That's the other thing. See, that's the thing. I don't know if it doesn't reevaluate when this is set. Well, actually, no. It should reevaluate when it steps on the other pressure plate, shouldn't it? So yeah, I think that might actually work. That might be fine. Okay. So we'll copy these. We'll make 4. We need 4 individual ones of these. So we'll get 4 of those. And then essentially our any signal is going to go into each of these. So we need to essentially make these go into each of those. And then we need to make sure then that the output of each of these signals goes into each of these as well. So these guys are going to link to that one. Yeah, here we go. This should work, I think. This should maybe work. So we're going to do that. That's number 1. That's number 2. So number 2, you need to kind of go into that one. There's 2. Then number 3 can be this one. Because you got to take account of the counter's behavior, that it doesn't send an evaluate message if you reset the counter. But we can't use decrement on the counter, because if we do that, it might underflow and go less than 0, so that when something evaluates, it'll just be like, nope, this isn't true. So then we're going to go and put it into this one. So there's our gates, and essentially then these gates decide if both of these conditions are met, and if they are, then we link these to the lights, and then this one essentially we'll just turn light on when it passes and turn light off when it fails, right? So that should be everything we need. And then we just got to kind of try and get through these areas and link to these lights here. There's number 2, and here's number 3. So yeah, I think that may do it. I think that may do it for a randomizer, and then we just need like a Weevil in there to kind of walk around and toggle the lights. All right, so let's try that. Let's see if this works. So all we need to do now is spawn a Weevil into the middle. And go from there. So let's go and grab some kind of Weevil spawn, and then we can hopefully spawn this guy in the middle, and hopefully he will trigger pressure plates and it will work just fine. So we'll kind of put this guy like a little bit high up so he doesn't just like spawn in straight away. And I guess then we come out of this thing and we just land down here, and let's see what happens. All right, does this work? So if he walks around in there, does he trigger a pressure plate? That's the important thing. Or is he walking on them?
Consulting Detective Weevil, hot on the trail.
Has he got stuck between them? No, he's got stuck between them. Okay, so that didn't work. Okay, so the Weevil gets stuck between these things. Okay, so that's obviously not going to work. So we need something other than the Weevil then. So yeah, he got stuck between them. Speaking of which, where did my spawn even go? Is that bugged? I think that might be bugged because the Weevil is like not... Oh, he's there, right? Okay, there's kind of spawned down there. Let me kind of try and get this guy, remove him. Right, remove that guy. So yeah, he gets stuck between that one. And Ant might work. Yeah, we'll have to try an Ant. Let's try that. So yeah, we'll have to, because it has to be a neutral or passive creature, doesn't it? So let me kind of spawn the Ant. Let me kind of use freestanding mode to kind of spawn him higher, and he can drop in, right? Yeah, if he spawns it up here, he then drops down, and then hopefully that works. So let's try. Come out of HandyNet. There we go. So then hopefully the Ant will fall in. Okay. Oh, okay. It did something, but it turned all 4 of them on. Okay, so it's I can hear him tripping pressure plates, but it turned on all 4. So I think there's something. Oh, okay. So something changed. Something changed there, but I'm not quite sure what happened then. Okay. So something happened, but it wasn't quite right. So let's kind of evaluate the logic again and see what's going on. So this thing has one of those, and it evaluates the counter that's greater than 0, right? And it does start at 0, doesn't it? Yeah, I believe it does. Okay, so it kind of worked. Carnage says, Max, question. Yes, Carnage, what is your question? These are all being set to 0, right? When they reset. Here we go. Yeah, these are, for whatever reason, being set to 1. Okay. Oh wait, no, these aren't set. These are all set to increment, right? So I need to set value. Yeah, that's why. I thought these were set to set value, but they were actually set to increment. So I need to check. I need to change all these and make sure they're being set to the right one. Okay. So that needs to be set value. That one is set value. Yeah, because my chat's kind of hiding whether it's set to increment or set value. So I gotta just make sure these are all correct. Okay. So it's just a case that I didn't have them as set to set value. There you go. So I thought they copied their behavior, but I guess not. So we'll just do that one. I'll go through each of these in sequence, and we should be fine. That needs to be set value, which it already is. That's fine. Okay, so it did kind of work, but yeah, I think once we kind of fix these gates up a bit, it will be fine. So yeah, they got to reset the value back to 0. Set back to 0. That's set. Okay, that one is fine. So let's just check all of these. So yeah, that's increment. That's going to be set value. But yeah, you can see how easy it is to mess something like this up. There you go, set value. Let's make sure all of these are set value. That one is. This one. That is set to set value. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, let's try this again. All right, so I think we fixed it. All right, here we go. Says it looks like one of the plates were working as intended. Yeah, I think that's why they weren't set to set value. They were set to increment. Okay, let's try again. So we'll come out of here. Kind of says, would you make your own grounded story with the playgrounds? Maybe, but I would need them to add a feature where we can like make our own lab notes and, you know, add some more like ability to make our own custom labs and things like that. I'd also make it so that, you know, we can have like the boss summoning items to actually use inside something. So I would definitely, and you know, like if there's like an inventory scanner that makes sure you have like the correct item and stuff like that. So yeah, if they did that though, then yeah, I'd probably like try and make my own kind of story in the playgrounds, because I can definitely see that being kind of cool. You know, the ability to like make our own custom mixers as well would also be really good. So then we can like get raw science that way. And, you know, if they let us put like the burgle chips around the yard, you'd let us spawn burgle somewhere, you know, things like that. If they allowed us to do all that, then yeah, I would, because that'd be kind of fun. All right, let's see. So there we go. So the ant is, so he came off the pressure plate, but if he moves around, oh, there you go. So as you can see now, light number 2 is on. He's moving around in there. Will he ever go to light number 4? Yeah, I can hear him walking around there. Has he got stuck again?
Hey, a common example of the Formicidae family.
Yeah, see, I think it works, but he kind of gets stuck between... He kind of gets stuck in the middle of these. So I think to fix that, all we got to do essentially is grab this pressure plate and move it into the ground slightly. Essentially, each one of these we just want to move like very slightly downwards. So it's kind of like down into the ground, but not obviously too far. Can I go into this view? There you go. Yeah, so you just want to move it down just a smidge into the ground so they can't get stuck in it. I think that's the problem. They're kind of getting caught onto the side of it. So if we can move it into the ground, that might fix our current issue. So yeah, we want it to kind of be like into the ground, like, yeah, there we go. So if it's in the ground like that, I think it can still trigger, right? Yeah. So if we move it into the floor slightly, that'll probably fix the problem. There we go. Yeah. So as long as it's down a smidge, because I think this ground is not particularly flat either. So yeah, some of these need to move down a bit so that the ant doesn't get caught on them. But I think once it does that, it should be okay. I also think the terrain is somewhat a bit bugged as well. But yeah, if we do that and move them into the ground a little bit further, hopefully they will still trigger. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to like figure out like what this is all about, though, isn't it? It's kind of cool. So move that one down slightly. There you go. That one's slightly down. I think that'll be better now. Okay. Okay, let's go try that. But yeah, here we go. Now come out of here.
Hey, a common example of the Formicidae family.
Okay, I need to get out of here, though. I needed to turn this off and get outside here, and then undo. Right, now we'll try it. Now will it work? Let's see. So 4 is on. Okay, so 4 came on this time. 3 came on, but then 4 stayed on. Okay, so something is... So he's got, I think now he's going between 3 and 4, isn't he? Yeah, I think he's stuck between 3 and 4 now.
Hey, a common
yeah,
example
so
of
as
the
you can see,
family.
he's stuck between 3 and 4. Oh no, then he went to 2. Now 2 came on. Okay, so 3 and 4 seem okay. So it looks like he might get stuck, but yeah, it looks like the lights do stay on sometimes. So there's a problem with 3, it seems. The problem with number 3. So what is wrong with 3 here? Oh, I kind of fell right down here. Didn't want to do that. What is the problem with number 3? I'm guessing we've not got a... so number 3 is linking to... So because when he steps on 3, it didn't reevaluate the thing. But I think we're pretty close, honestly. Let me turn out the light here. That's kind of making it a bit more difficult to see. That needs to set value. These are being set to 0, right? Yeah, so make sure all these... I'm going to make sure I'm actually looking at the link, because sometimes it's... I might need to turn off wide interaction, actually. Let me see if wide interaction is kind of messing with it a bit. Because that might also be a factor that I need to turn off. So accessibility. Let me turn off wide interaction and see if that's going to work better. Yeah, I think wide interaction is kind of messing with what I'm looking at. So set value... That one's set to set value there. This one right here is what I need to change. That's that's going to evaluate. That one needs to be, yeah, that's set value 0. Yeah, one of these I think is not quite working with. That one is going to evaluate. This one. That one is increment. But yeah, you can see it kind of works. It kind of works in a way. It says it looks like one of the plates was working as intended. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is, but yeah, I got to double check all these are set to set value. I think they are, so there might also be some other odd behavior going on as well. Hang on, that one's set to set value. So yeah, it could be just that there is another thing I haven't considered within the logic itself. That's set to set value. That's set to set value as well. That's set to set value right here. So there we go. So we do that one, do that one. Yeah, these seem to all be set to set value. It looks like these are it looks like for the most part this section is correct. But for whatever reason, when it steps on to number 3, because it was definitely number 3 that was having the problem, wasn't it? I think. So this one just evaluates, right? So yeah, on condition passed, it sends an evaluate signal there. So yeah, we need to make sure these are all set to evaluate as well. I believe that one is, and then number 1 and 2 as well. So yeah, we need to just make sure these are all correct. Evaluate. Yep. So it does seem like they are. I'm wondering if he managed to step on 2 pressure plates together. That's something I didn't consider as well. If he steps on 2 together and it still sends a signal out, that could be something. But yeah, let's try and see what happens again. So yeah, so sometimes he will. Yeah, so 4 works fine, 1 works fine. There you go. So yeah, as you can see, he's kind of like stuck in the wall there. Yeah, 4 and 1 definitely work fine. There's 4. So he's going between 4 and 1. Yeah, when he steps on 3, is it because 3 and 4 are too close together?
Hey, a common example of the Formicidae family.
That's one thing I'm wondering. Yeah, are these two too close together, maybe? Because yeah, you can see the ant kind of like mooches around in here. But that's the other thing I'm wondering. Or do one of these pressure plates not have the right thing set to them for their counter? That's the only other thing I can think of. So that one is set to increment. And that's set to increment by 1. Okay, let's make sure all these are set to increment. Because it seems to happen when it steps on the 3rd pressure plate, doesn't it? That's increment by 1 as well. That one down there. Yeah, some of these links are really hard to get to sometimes. That one is set to increment as well by 1. I'm guessing. Yeah, that's so. These are all set fine. So it kind of works. It kind of works. But I don't know if it's the right way to go. I don't know if it's the right way to go about it. Maybe counters aren't the right way to go about it. Maybe then. Okay, so this is something. This is like something on the way, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what's wrong between the last stages here to make it work, because these are all linked to the correct lights, aren't they? These are all linked to the correct gates. These are all set to all. Okay, so it's kind of there. You says, "How's Queen today? She's having a bit of a resting day today. She's not feeling like too awake today, so I think she's having trying to take some rest and just feel a little bit better." Okay, let's make another setup somewhere else. Let's go and we'll keep that one over there as a starting point. But let's make another setup and see how we go. So we'll try this instead. So we'll do another. I just do another 2x2 because they're probably the easiest to. 2x2s are probably the easiest to manage, aren't they? So we'll do another another 2x2 setup here, and I'll just do something like this. Okay, so maybe that isn't the right way to go about it, but I guess we'll see if something else can trigger it. And maybe I'll put some lower walls in here as well, because I don't think the creatures will really get out of a lower wall. It should be pretty good. Best thing for her. Hope she starts feeling better soon. Yeah, me too. She's been having a bit of a rough week, and like lots of worries with like, essentially because our fridge broke and everything. It was like more stuff that kind of hit us at once that we really didn't need to be dealing with. But you know. But yeah, our wedding fund pretty much went down the toilet to fix everything and get new food, because like all the food we had just went bad and everything. It was terrible. So yeah, everything we saved for just went. But hopefully we'll be able to replace that pretty soon. You know, after Christmas especially. So that will hopefully be hopefully it'll be all good. But yeah, it was just kind of stressful. But most of the stuff now seems to be okay now. Okay, so let me see if we can try something else. Okay. So if maybe we need to store a switch state instead. So what we'll do is I'll go ahead and, because yeah, I think with the pressure plates, because you could just have pressure plates turning the lights on and off. I mean maybe that'll be the way to go. But then it's like, but if there's two of them, how does it select the right one then? Do you know what I mean? Because like you've obviously got to have it select the correct one as well, right? So it's a little bit weird, because otherwise you'll have like two situations that you might not want. So don't mention Christmas, we had to take down to an emergency vet. That's done. That's 145 done. Yeah, the fridge we had to get was like 320 quid as well. That was like the cheapest one they had, so we had to go for that. So that set us back a ways, and then you know obviously food on top of that set us down another couple of hundred as well. It was kind of crazy. it was just a lot at once, and we're just like damn it. But yeah, we've pretty much managed to get everything we need now, so it's slightly better than it was. But yeah, it still was kind of sucky. I was like, no. I was like, well, we said so long to save, and then it's just gone. I was like, no. All right, here we go. It says it's ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, it really is, honestly. Like, it's just, yeah, I don't know. Don't even get me started. Like everything now is just so fucking expensive. It is nuts. But yeah, I think the pressure plates need to be like slightly into the floor, just so that the bug doesn't get caught on them. It's a shame that the floor is not completely flat though. I mean, I guess you could use a lab section to do a randomizer and do it inside a lab, and then send a signal from in there, because like I know that has like perfectly flat floors, so maybe that'll be what we need to do, is like to actually do it in a lab section. Right, so there's 4 pressure plates there. Because yeah, we could just link, like, the most simple one, yeah, is we could just link these to something, right? Says they know that you'll pay because you have to. Well, yeah, we don't really have a choice, do we? Honestly, like that's just the thing. It's like we don't have a choice, which kind of sucks, but you know. That's the thing. It is what it is, isn't it? Okay, so I guess we'll try with the switch case. I think these are set to on by default, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what these are set to by default. I could have sworn they are just set to on, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're set to off by default. It doesn't actually tell you what their default state is. We'll assume it's set to off by default. Okay, let's try a switch statement. Okay, so essentially, we are gonna do. When it comes to this one, we're going to kind of link these up. Can I turn this light out as well? It's kind of too bright. So when it comes to these, when we step on the pressure plate, we activate the switch. And when we step off the pressure plate, we don't want to do anything, right? Now, the reason we don't want to do anything when we step off the thing is because we want to make sure that the random thing is preserved while something is going between the pressure plates. So that's the important thing, right? You got to preserve that state so that you can compare it with an AND gate. So that's the only thing we got to do. So this one is we're going to do none. So yeah, so these first 4 here is activate and none. I also need to set these to low weight as well. Can I not look at that one? Okay, I got to go to first person. I wish it wouldn't default handing that to third person if you were in first person already. That would be nice. But there we go. So we've got that one, and then we got this one into there. There you go. And then we got to set that one to, yeah, activate. And on leaving, it says to none. Right, so then what we want to do is set all these to a low weight. There we go. So we'll try this again. So set it to a low weight, another low weight. There you go. So set all of these ones to low. And that one's low, because, yeah, this will make sure that the This will make sure that the creatures can step on them, and it will trigger. All right, so again, it's going to be a similar setup. So again, we want to set a link to, essentially, we want to link each of these together. So yeah, from each one of these, we need a link to the other switch. So yeah, maybe the switch gizmo is the right way to go rather than the counter. Because I was thinking the counter will be better because it doesn't send a signal out when you reset a state. But then again, that's like, that also does sort of work against you as well. So I was like, okay, so maybe we need to do this slightly differently. So yeah, we'll try this and see how we go. So we'll try that. So yeah, essentially what we need to do for every one of these states, we need to say when the pressure plate is activated, we will deactivate the switch. And when it's off, we just do nothing. So yeah, this is going to be set to deactivate and none. So deactivate and none. There you go. There's that one. And then this one is the same, deactivate and none, right? So that's set to deactivate. That one is set to none. There you go. And we got to do this for every one of these. So we go deactivate and... Oh, I need to set that other one to none as well so it doesn't deactivate the first one. So deactivate and... on deactivated, you do nothing. Because, yeah, these pressure plates control the other 4 switches. But, yeah, you can see that if you want to add a lot of links, this will get very complicated very quickly. But just for very basic randomizers, it would probably be okay. So, deactivate and none. There we go. And then do the... Nope. I want to go for that one. There you go. So, then we, again, deactivate and then set to none. There we go. And then lastly, we do it for these ones. But yeah, you can see if you got a lot of switches, you're going to have to do this a lot. You're going to have to set up a lot of these things. So deactivate and then none. And then we do the same for these ones. So set all of these to deactivated. And then the second action to none. So yeah, it looks like the switch states might be better than the counter. So deactivate. And then, of course, on the other one, we just go for none, right? So, yeah, there was probably something with the pressure plate as well that might have been doing something with the counter. But, yeah, so essentially this then kind of keeps a record of what's going on. And then I think from that point, we would just set it out into, like, some lights, wouldn't we? So we'll go ahead and set this out into... 4 lights again, just so we can check that the state machine actually works. So essentially, it's like a state machine that we're making here. It still is random because the bugs walk in random directions, but yeah, it's kind of like a state machine. I wonder if a gnat would work if we kind of like boxed in the gnat, if that would work better. You never know, because I don't know if a gnat can trigger a pressure plate, but if it can, that might be even better because they fly around more. They're not restricted by the ground, and they fly around more randomly than gnats. Because I know when a Lormite jumps over a pressure plate, it actually triggers it without touching it. So maybe a gnat would work as a potential thing as well. So yeah, we'll get some lights here, and again we'll try this again. So here we go. So we'll go 4 more lights here. So again we'll kind of stack these up on the wall. So just do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I guess this time we don't need to check if we've got a signal already, because that's the thing, we don't need to check if we got a signal already, because this time the switch states, I think, keep track of that for us rather than needing like an OR gate and a load of AND gates. So this one might actually be a simpler setup. So yeah, this might allow us to kind of remove a lot of the kind of grunt work that kind of goes into it. Are you not going to let me go for those lights? Okay, I'll tell you what then. Yeah, looks like the Handy Gnat has trouble seeing some of these lights. So what I'll do is I'll use some plant lamps instead, just away from the machine. So we'll see if this works. Okay, here we go. So we'll try this again. Let me use... Or maybe we can use these mant things. Yeah, we'll use some of these, because these are kind of like freestanding kind of things. So yeah, these kind of look a bit nicer. So let's rotate them this way. There you go. And we'll go 1. And we'll do 4 of these. Alright, there we go. And then we can go to... each of these then. So number 1 will be this one. So yeah, the one on the bottom left is 1. Because yeah, if we keep track of what does what, then we can kind of... Now these should all be by default triggered for the right thing. So these should turn light on when the switch activates and turn it off when it doesn't. Because it kind of, like, for the most part, these links try and intelligently guess what you want them to do. And for the most part, they do a really good job of that as well. So this might be better. So let's try this. So first of all, we'll try it with a red ant, and then we'll see if that works. So let's go get a red ant spawn. And we'll just drop this guy in. And then you can go right there. And then he should hopefully just spawn in and start doing his thing. Wait, he's kind of on a pressure plate. I want to spawn him in the air. So let's go ahead and use this. And then we'll kind of fly upwards. and then spawn him here. I don't know why it like starts him so far away. Maybe move him closer so it's easier to position him. Yeah, so we'll kind of set it like here, and we'll just like spawn him in the air, like there. There we go. So it's pretty much centralized. He'll spawn in the air and he'll just drop in, right? And that'll probably work fine. Kind of says, I feel like we take to notes. I feel like we need to take notes while Professor Fox teaches us. Well, honestly, I'm just experimenting. Like this is like all trial and error because I've never tried something like this before. Okay, so let's see if this works. There you go. So 2 and
a common
3.
example of the Formicidae family.
Okay, so is he stood on 2 at once? Or is 2... So I think he stood on 2 pressure plates at once when that state happens. Because I think he's kind of in the corner there as well. Okay, so maybe... Yeah, because he stood on 2 there, so I think he's coming down to... I think he's walking across the bottom, but he's still triggering both plates together. Yeah, now he's back in the corner. Okay, let me try something else then. So yeah, it looks like we can't separate him from the different things. Okay, so different idea. So it's still. I think what the problem is, honestly, is that the ant is just too big, and he's triggering several plates together. So we do need something smaller. So maybe the Weevil is the correct answer here then. As long as it doesn't get out. Well, I mean, we could try a gnat as well. We could try a gnat and see if that works. So yeah, if we put a gnat in here and like box it in, maybe that will work too. Let me kind of put it like there, just so we can kind of see it. And then if we put like some floors above it, then maybe we can like box the gnat in so it can't escape. And then it could just stay low over those pressure plates. Because the gnats tend to fly randomly, right? They do get stuck every now and then, but they do fly randomly around. So maybe that could work. But yeah, honestly, it's kind of fun trying to figure this out. It's actually a very fun challenge. So if we like put some grass floors above this. All right. Now come out of my handy gnat. Let's see. Does the gnat trigger it? Or does he not? Or is he too high?
Gnat, say intentions. Your flight path is not cleared.
Okay, no, he's just getting stuck, isn't he? Okay, so the gnat... Nah, the gnat doesn't trigger. Okay, the lawn might does, but the gnat doesn't. Okay, so that's not working. What about a gnat with 4 walls and pressure plates on the walls? Does it trigger if it boops a vertical upside down? Now, this is the thing. I don't think you can make pressure plates do that. I don't think they can. I don't think they can be rotated in a vertical direction. Which is a little bit of a shame. But yeah, I think when you try and put a pressure plate in a vertical direction, it just goes, nope. So yeah, if I try, yeah, you can see the only rotation options are these 2. So you can only rotate it horizontally or move it closer and further. If you try and put it on a wall, it doesn't work. So yeah, the pressure plate is one of the rare things that can only be moved in 2 dimensions, which kind of sucks, honestly. Because yeah, I was thinking of being able to do something like that, where you could like launch something into the ceiling or something like that, and then have it trigger. Because something like that would have been pretty cool, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like. So the gnat's not going to work either. So the gnat may be too light for it. But yeah, that's something. Turns like targets. Do targets work? Kind of says that, yeah, I wanted to, says I wanted a door on the floor, like a trap door. I think you can kind of turn the doors into in a certain way. I think targets only work with player shot things, don't they? Alright, get rid of that now. Yeah, he's kind of booping. Okay, so maybe the Weevil then is the correct answer here. Because I think the Weevil could potentially be small enough to only trigger one thing. Unless we just have to spread this out into a bit of a bigger area. Maybe that's also a solution as well to prevent them stepping. Maybe the pressure plates are simply just too close together. That could also be another issue as well. So maybe all we need to do is just spread this out. Says, I'm not sure, just brainstorm with the targets. Yeah, I think targets can only interact with like player fired things. I think the targets are a little bit finicky that way. So yeah, let me try. Okay, before we go for the Weevil, because the red ant seemed to work pretty well, let me try with spreading these out a bit. So let's try and put 2 of these into a 3x3 area. So maybe if we do this instead, this will be a better solution potentially. So let me remove these guys so that things don't get stuck. Also, I want to clear any like debris inside here. So let's go ahead and put like a 3x3 wall around the edge. I will see if this works instead. Maybe a 3x3 is necessary for this. And then I want to make sure this thing can be pulled closer to me. There we go. And we want to kind of put this into the floor just a bit so that the ant doesn't get stuck on it, right? But maybe we can move this a bit more central now as well. But yeah, I think ideally you would need to do this in like in like one of the labs, because then the floor is perfectly flat, right? Whereas out kind of on the outside here, it's a little bit of a palaver, isn't it? Because the floor is not perfectly flat. So yeah, we kind of want to sink that into the ground just a bit. Then this last one here. So the switches are kind of keeping the same place because it's going to do the same thing. But yeah, if I can figure this out, I'm probably going to do a video on this because like I think this will be like the first kind of randomizer that's possible to be made. So that'd be kind of cool. So yeah, keep that on the floor a little bit. Okay, so now we just want to get our ant spawn. So yeah, we could move this all and neaten it up, but like you guys have seen where the switches go, so that's fine. And now I just want to get an ant spawn, and we'll kind of dump it in the middle here. There you go. So we'll just dump the ant in the middle, and then wherever he goes, he goes. Right. Okay. Let's see what happens now. If he moves around now, will he trigger one of these things straight away? Or does he not? Looks like he doesn't.
Hey, a common
He just
example
walks
of
to
the
the wall
Formicidae
and
family.
he doesn't do anything. Okay, so maybe the Weevil is the answer then. Okay, so yeah, he's currently not true. It's almost like he's trying to avoid the pressure plates. That's what I'm thinking. I think he's trying to just stay on the solid ground and avoid the plates. So that could also be an issue. So let's try a Weevil. Does the Weevil work better? If it does, then that'll be awesome. But I guess we'll find out. Does Mr. Weevil work any better than Mr. Ant over there? Okay, well, I guess we'll try and find out.
Detective Weevil, hot on the trail.
Okay, so he's 10 on
Got a
3.
nose for the truth.
Now if he moves to a different one, does he always like gravitate towards this corner? Yeah, see, look, he's always trying to move to this corner. So maybe the pressure plates do need to be in the corner. Yeah, so currently it's just stayed on 3 and it's kind of just stayed there. So yeah, not sure, just brainstorming with the target. See, yeah, I'm not too sure honestly if this is actually going to work the way we want it to. It's still kind of just staying on 3, isn't it? So I think what we had before worked better in a smaller area. So yeah, maybe it does need to be a small area, so he kind of triggers it. But yeah, so he kind of wants to stay on the edge of this, doesn't he? Yeah, he's trying to escape essentially and stay on the edge. Okay, so that's probably why. So what we need to do then is, so because the Weaver wants to get to the edge of the thing, these things then need to be on the edge. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, we need to kind of move these over to the edge here. So yeah, maybe a 2x2 is enough then for this. So yeah, okay, let's recompact it down to a 2x2. And we'll try that again because yeah, it looks like maybe the Weaver will be better then in that case. As long as these things are like on the edge and then somewhat in the ground, a 2x2 solution should work for this. So yeah, that might work. That might work a little bit better. Okay, yeah. So we'll try and recompact it to a 2x2. What about fans with a burr? The burr rolls, but I don't know if its weight is enough. We could try that. Fans with the burr could work. Yeah. Because yeah, it could then roll the burr around into like a see if we use fans with a burr, it'll do it in a sequence though. Do you know what I mean? So if you want it to be truly random and not a sequenced random, you would need to do it like if you want to make a sequenced randomizer, that's way easier. If you want to do it, if you're wanting a sequence randomizer that then selects the thing that you want when you press a button, that is way easier to do. But if you want a true randomizer, the fan design will essentially give you just another sequence randomizer, which you're just better off using timers for, right? Like it might be able to give you a faster sequence randomizer because it'll be under a second. But yeah, if you're looking for like a true randomizer like this, it's kind of not going to work. It'll still be like sequence when it right. That Weevil spawn has to move a little bit, so I can put you like over there. There you go, and then we can move this guy over to here. Yeah, but yeah, we probably should have done this in the lab section really to make it a bit clearer what's going on. But yeah, let's condense this back down to a 2x2. So we'll go grab these walls here, and I can then rotate them like this. There you go. So we'll go and condense this back into a 2x2. So yeah, I think 2x2 is the right way to go then, rather than the 3x3. Because the plates are close together, but hopefully the Weevil is not big enough to trigger several at once. But if that does happen, we just need to then reposition the plate slightly towards the edges, and it should fix that. Which could have honestly been the problem with the other one, is that there were too many plates. Okay, let's try this now. Does this work better now? Okay, here we go. Got a hand in that. There's 4. So it goes to 3, 4. But then does the Weevil move anymore, or does he kind of stay there? Can't even see where it is. So 4 is right here, isn't it? Yes, the number 4 is there. Yes, the Weevil kind of stays in the corner. Is he just going to stay there? Or is he going to move again? Looks like he's now just going to stay there. See, that's some of the problem with the bugger. Sometimes they will just get stuck and stay where they are. If we come back out again, does it do the same thing? So yeah, that one triggered 1 and 3 together, right? So yeah, some of the plates are still...
Consulting Detective Weevil, hot on the trail.
Too close together.
He's got a nose for the truth.
So yeah, now this time he went this side to number 1. So yeah, it looks like he landed on both of these together. Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay, so yeah, it kind of works, but yeah, the pressure plates are so kind of sensitive. Yeah, I think he landed on them together. I think he's landed on both together, 3 and 1. It's very tricky, isn't it, to make it actually truly work? But it kind of does it. But yeah, he always lands on 3 and 1, it would seem. Okay. Okay, another idea then. Another idea that might work. Okay, let's come out of here. Let's try something else. Why don't we try a bug spawner? Because I know that the bug spawners place things in a radius, right? So maybe that will be a better way. Let's try that. So what we can do is let's make another one of these structures again. But this time we're gonna make like a load of cells. So we'll make a few cells this time and see if this works any better. So I need to go. Let's go find a lab and do it in a lab because it'll probably be easier. It'll probably be easier to trigger it through a lab because everything's like perfectly flat. Whereas in these kind of areas, like everything's a little bit all over the place, right? So we need to find some kind of lab section to do it in. I think. Why can't we access the map in the handy map? I think there's one over there, isn't there? I see a light over there. I think there's one over here. So we'll go fly to this lab over here. I think this is where one is. Or is that a can? No, that's a can. Oh, there it is right there. Yeah, here we go. So there's a lab over here. We'll do it in a lab because that way the floor is flat. And it might be better. Kai says, what's been your favorite thing about the update? You can choose only one. Oh, man. Right now, I really don't know. Like, I'll have to let you know. What if you use the D&D boards as the surface? I could do that as well, but I don't know if the bugs will spawn, because when I've noticed that spawners tend to have a behavior whereby they will try and spawn things into pre-made ground first before trying to spawn onto a floor. So I'm not sure if that'll work, but it could. Kind of says the pupa ball is mine. Yeah, I know your favorite is the pupa ball. I think there's like a big room down here, isn't there, we can go to? So yeah, I might just kind of go into this room. There you go. So yeah, because in this room, the floor is like perfectly flat, so we can use this as our kind of testing grounds. Right. Okay. So let's go make another. So this time I'm going to make like a load of cells. And obviously we want this to snap to the ground. So yeah, I'm gonna make a lot of cells this time, and we're gonna like trigger a bug spawner to go into one of these cells, right? So I guess we'll have to do. Well, we could do a 4x4 thing, and I just want to see when. What I'll do is I'll trigger the spawn tap, and we'll see where it ends up. Because I think the bigger the bug is, the wider the spawn area is. So I want to see. So essentially, we're going to make like a grid like this, and we're going to see if we can make it so that the bugs will spawn into. Because essentially, what I'm trying to do is make it so that the bugs will end up in one of these areas, right? They'll end up in just one of these every time they spawn, and then we can trigger a despawn and then a respawn to reposition the bug somewhere else, right? Because if we can do that, that would be the first step. So yeah, I want to see if this solution may work. How you doing, Rook? Welcome to the stream. Says hello, Max, Carnage, Metal, Tiny, and Chat. Hope everyone's well. How's the new update been? The new update's been absolutely awesome. Same question. And thank you, Carnage, for giving Rick a shout out. Very much appreciated. We're trying to make a randomizer, but we're also trying to like battle with the spawners as well. So now I don't know if it's going to try and spawn anything on top of the stuff or not. But let's go ahead and get a regular spawner, and we're going to kind of put this like right in the middle here, right? So. And then we'll set it to spawn. We want to set it to spawn some kind of, just regular creature. So if I gotta come up here, because yeah, you can't. I don't think you can edit it while you're in the handy nap mode. But yeah, we'll get it to spawn a Weevil for now. We'll just get it to spawn one of those. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press. I'm gonna make it do a button thing. And when we press the button, essentially, it will just spawn in. Actually, no, let's do it on a switch, because then we can test it a bit more easily. So we'll do it on a switch here. And then we're gonna hook the switch up to here, and essentially, when we flip the switch, it will spawn something into one of these cells. Hopefully, is what I'm hoping. So let's try it. Let's try this. Let's try this out. Right. So go into third person. So flip the switch. The Weevil ended up in this cell. Okay. So if I flip it off, it should have gone. If I flip it again, the Weevil ended up in that cell again. Okay. So is it always the same place? Where is it now? No, now it's in that cell. Okay. So where is it now? It is now in this cell.
Hot on the trail.
Okay, hang on then.
He's got a nose for the truth.
So let's see. Now where is it? It's now in that cell. Ah, okay, maybe. Maybe this could be a solution. Yeah, now it's there, see? Okay. So, okay, so yeah, it does escape occasionally. Okay, so that's the other thing we've got to watch out for. Okay, so yeah, it does escape occasionally. Okay, so this is a potential solution then. So we need to make this, so if it can escape occasionally, then we need to make this, wider. So if we wanted to have 4 states, then essentially we need to make it. See, this is why I wish the bugs could collide with the regions, because that would make it a lot easier. Because then what we could do is just set it so that when it comes into this region, it collides. But unfortunately, the only way to detect a bug currently is with the pressure plates. That's the only solution right now that currently exists. Like these trigger volumes, when a player enters or leaves. So yeah, you can't set these to bug interactions, unfortunately. Because if you could, we could just make a little trigger volumes and use that instead. But unfortunately, yeah. So the Weevil can escape at the moment. So what we need to do essentially is we need to make it so that these guys, we need to make this whole thing one wider. So that can be the middle of it. But yeah, essentially by limiting them to just one section, it's going to be fine, right? So then we'll delete the ones on the edge here. Okay, so yeah, this might be the answer then. So yeah, it looks like, because yeah, I'm trying to get an idea of like the radius of where things spawn in. So I think if we were to run this, and we'll kind of make this probably like about a 6x6 region. I'm also going to need to move the switch a bit further away as well. So yeah, it looks like a 6x6 region might be the answer to this. The lack of hold for delete is killing me, says guys. I know, right? Yeah, in Playgrounds, it's just you press it and it's gone. It's great. But yeah, in other modes, yeah, doesn't quite work so well. All right, right, here we go. Go over here. Kai says, I think the devs, thank the devs for undo. Yeah, the undo feature is really nice as well. I do like that. Okay, so if we do this, can we now guarantee that the Weevil will spawn in one of these 4 sections? Let's try this. Okay, turn on. He's in section. Okay, so we'll label the section. So this is section 1. That one up there is 2. That's 3. That's 4. Okay, so that's section 1. Looks like that is section 3. So he's in 3. That's 1 again. That's now section 4. Looks like he's in 3. 4. Is 2 ever selected? That's also a very important point. Okay, so yeah, he almost escaped that time. Right, so far oh yeah, there you go. 2 did get selected that time. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I've never seen 2 get selected yet, so that's also very important. Okay, this time he kind of spawned between the sections, so that's also another possibility as well. It's a very rare chance, but yeah, that can happen too. Okay, so this seems to work for like the most part. I guess we could solve that by using grass walls for this instead. So yeah, maybe what we need to do instead is use grass walls to prevent the weevil getting stuck. Because yeah, the wheat stem walls have a thickness, right? Whereas if we use grass walls, maybe they won't have a thickness. And therefore, because there's like much less of a thickness to it, the creature can't get stuck inside it. So maybe that's what we need to do. So yeah, we can use a wall with almost 0 thickness, which may prevent that issue from actually happening. So we'll try that. We'll try this. Here we go. Yeah, let's try a wall with less thickness and see if, for the most part, we kind of get a signal. Okay, so let's go and try this now. So yeah, he does occasionally spawn in section 2, but it's a little bit of a gamble. So yeah, that's section 1. That's section 4. That's also section 4. 1, 2, 3. I think he went into section 2. Yeah, section 2. Okay. So this seems to work. Okay, so this seems to work pretty good for like a random thing. Okay, so that's the first piece, right? Here's the first thing, right? So now what we need to do is we need to essentially cake the entire floor with pressure plates. That's what we need to do first of all. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're gonna go to design view again. Here we go. Now we're gonna cake the entire floor on this thing with pressure plates here, right? So that's all we need to do, because we need to make sure that when something spawns in here, it's going to go ahead and, trigger something. So as long as there's pressure plates all over this floor here, we've also got to make sure that they are not too close to the other side. Oh yeah, we need to set these at a low weight as well. So let me kind of remove that and just put 1 in here. Yeah, I've also got to make sure it doesn't clip through the floor, so we might want to give it a little bit of room on the edges. And then we're going to set that to a low weight, right? And then we'll just do these. Let me just go from the corners first. Yeah, so we want to make sure that like they don't get too close, because otherwise you run the risk again of them triggering 2 at once. So we'll kind of do this, and then I think we can fit a total of probably fit a total of 16 pressure plates into this area. So into each area we can then cram 16 pressure plates, like this, and then we'll just kind of do. Let's kind of line these up like that. There we go. Then we'll kind of line these all up. But yeah, but don't worry, we're not going to have to set up 256 connections per pressure plate, because what we're going to do is essentially we're going to use an any gate to evaluate whether one of these 16 have been stepped on by the weevil, right? So that shouldn't require us to then set up a whole load of complex stuff. But yeah, you could subdivide this further if you wanted to make it less random. Kind of says, always believe, Max. Says, I didn't believe it when you said it, but I just peeped the koi fish. Yep, you can now peep the koi fish, which is kind of cool. But yeah, so yeah, making a randomizer is possible, but right now it's a bit of work. But I think we've proved that it is possible. Just from that little trial alone, we proved that it is possible with a bug spawner. We just now have to capitalize on how to use that bug spawner, right? That's the important thing now, is how do we actually use the spawner to make it do what we want? How do we've got the power, but how do we harness that power to make the randomizer system? So yeah, that's the thing, right? So there we go. So we'll try this. So yeah, using a spawner to predetermine the thing is probably a lot better. But yeah, so this one will be like I guess a true randomizer, whereas the other one that we could work on is also going to be, I guess, a cyclic randomizer, where it will give like it'll give 4 states, and which one you get is randomly selected. But that one is like a lot simpler to set up, and you can literally just use timers for that. So yeah, if you want a true randomizer, you're literally going to need to come up with a system like this. Yeah, who would come up with a system like this? All right, so we're going to go and do this, and then we'll just go ahead and, like I said, cake this all in pressure plates here. So we'll cake the entire lot in pressure plates, and, you know, if we need to move any, we can kind of move them around just a smidge. There you go, so we can kind of move that one over a bit. And like that one can go like just there. Nope, a little bit further up. Like right there. There you go. So there's 32 of them. But yeah, so essentially, yeah, these will then trigger a pressure plate and make this work. So never believe Aussie Michael. But yeah, so yeah, always believe Max, never Michael. All right, so we'll go and do another one. Okay, so we'll go and do another one. But yeah, I think if this works, I might actually make an actual tutorial on this, because then I can more clearly explain how to set the thing up. I guess we do that one, we do that one, we do that one, we do that one. Because yeah, if we make this setup, it can trigger via a timer as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it can trigger via a timer to give you a result. It can trigger via a button. And essentially, you can take the output of this randomizer and apply it to anywhere. So you can make it send like a trigger, or like you could put it down like a receiver path, and then make any kind of output you want as well. So that's also another cool thing that you could do with this. So you'd only need like one randomizer to decide things, and then it would just happen on the timer, right? So you'd trigger it whenever you wanted to with a sender, and then whatever the receiver is, you can then just output to somewhere else. How to make a randomizer tutorial would be golden, says Tiny. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Says another ticket to send in. The sunken bones are disappearing after digging them up, says no. Oh, they are? Okay. That's interesting. All right, so then we can do this one. So yeah, it's like I said, it's a little bit of work to set this thing up, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be absolutely fine. It looks like this is definitely the ticket to doing it successfully. But yeah, but you would need to set it up in a lab so you can have a big flat floor. So yeah, one of these big rooms is like ideal for a randomizer, because then you could also control like when the bugs spawn and despawn as well, which is actually a much better feature too. Okay. So we can do that one, and we can do that one. We can do that one, and we can do that one. Right, there we go. So now I got all these. Okay, so there's all these. These should all be set to pretty much low weight, right? So yeah, everything is set to low weight. So next we need to essentially route all of these into an any gate, right? So let's go ahead and do this. Let's see. Says no need for violence. Says takes a ruler of wax carnage and throws paper at the class. Says you can tell it's education, buddy. I'm the only one taking the piss. All right, so let's go grab these. Yeah, so we can do one of these now. So we want an any gate for these. Essentially, what we're going to do is we're gonna link each of these up to. So we'll have an any gate for 1, and an any gate for 2, an any gate for 3, and an any gate for 4. And essentially what I will do is, let me put this in the middle for a second. And essentially we want to link up all of these to the any gate, which is invalid surface. Hang on, do I need to be in first person to kind of actually look at the thing? Okay, no, maybe the any gate needs to be outside so I can link it more easily. Yes, that's the only annoying thing. Like, it'll be like, oh, you're on an invalid surface. You're like, no, I'm just trying to link it to a gate. Oh, can we not link a pressure plate to an any gate? Well, shit. We do need to use a switch volume. Okay, so essentially then we've got to make a load of switches. Oh man, that's actually no, even easier. We can link it to a counter with a condition. Okay. So all we do is set this to greater than 0, right? So set that to greater than 0. We can then, I think, link these to a counter. Okay, yeah, so we can link these to a counter. So then all 4 of these, all 16 of these will link to one counter. Here we go. So yes, maybe I need to link the innermost ones first, just so it's a bit easier to see where we're linking. So yeah, all these need to link to a counter. So yeah, we need to link all these because yeah, as soon as one of them is stepped on, it will increment the counter by 1, right? So that's essentially what we want. And then again, so yeah, we link all these into this kind of... So this counters like the evaluator thingy, right? So that will kind of evaluate everything. So yeah, it looks like the switch volumes will not work with this, but that's fine. Because yeah, certain things cannot work with certain other things. So you kind of need to do this. So, yeah, we need to essentially do this for each one of these. So it's up a counter in each one. So then we don't need these any gates now. These can actually be removed. So yeah, we don't need the any gates. And then all we do is we take the output of that counter and link it to the light. And then that decides our random number, right? So that decides the random number between 0 and 4. Okay, so there we go. So we got to do it again. But yeah, this should just set the counter to increment and be equal to greater than 1. So we just do this again. So we set that one to, because we're setting it to greater than, because we want to make sure that it's, you know, that at least one of these has been stepped on. That doesn't matter how many have been stepped on. It just goes, hey, this is greater than this, right? And that works. Then we got that one, that one. And then we kind of just do the outside. Yeah, it's easier to do the inside ones first and then link all these outside ones as well. Because, yeah, I think this will then make a true randomizer. So, yeah, Tiny and Robbie, you wanted a randomizer. This thing will... this thing was a 4-state randomizer, but you could obviously add more if you wanted to make, like... you can make a 9-state or a 16-state randomizer this way as well. So, yeah, either way it works, but you kind of had to link these all together with a counter at first. So yeah, the counter kind of decides what you're going with. It's just gonna be very difficult to kind of get this output here, but it'll work. We'll figure it out. We'll probably like move these to the outside at some point. So then again, a third counter with a condition here. Right, so we can put the third one there. Again, make that greater than 0, and then we just go and link each of these up to here. So start with the innermost ones and then work outwards, just because it makes it a bit easier to do it. There we go, and we should be pretty good. Ty says, "This is exciting." I know, right? It's going good. Says Xbox. I've said I'm an Xbox. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, they always want you to include like what console you're on and like your specs and stuff, because sometimes it can actually be tied to the console. Like I know there have been some issues that it's tied to the console sometimes. Yeah, so do that one, do that one, do that one. Do that one. There you go. That's the third one. And then we need to do one more. So yeah, as you can see, it's a lot of work to set this up. But yeah, for a true randomizer, you kind of need to do something like that as well. Because the only thing that's truly random about the bug spawners is like that, and that's the only thing that's like truly random is where the bug spawns from a spawner. That's the only thing that's like truly random. So you kind of have to just use that and capitalize on it. So we'll go do this one, and we can go ahead and grab these, grab these, grab these. Here we go. And then we'll go ahead and try and fill these all in. But yeah, it's been a good like trial and error kind of thing going on with this. It's like it's actually quite fun working this stuff out and to see how it goes. Like I really do hope like eventually they give us like one thing I think that'd be really good is if they gave us like a circuit module where we can go ahead and essentially program all this into one logic circuit that we can just place down as a gizmo. I'd love to be able to do that. All bugs must be fixed or squashed, depending on the bug. And how you doing, Fluent Van? Says Fluent Van Ensign, welcome in. Says, I hope there will be a new bug, but this is also pretty sick. Yeah, they have said when it comes to like the new bugs and stuff like that, they said like they'd like to do something like that, but because they are still trying to support the Xbox One, the memory that they've now run into, they're running into memory issues now, essentially, because the Xbox One can't really handle any more than what Grounded has at this point. Do you know what I mean? So this is why they come up with this game mode, because it doesn't use a lot of memory to make stuff like this, and it allows people to kind of make the game the way they want, right? Says, hey, the game is getting the game is getting too big. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like if they didn't have to support the Xbox One and support the Xbox just support the Xbox Series X and S, then they could add a lot more, because that console is a lot more powerful than the Xbox One. But yeah, unfortunately, it's no dice. So yeah, we have to just be like, okay, we just have to accept that Grounded at this point has pretty much reached its memory capacity. The only way they can add more now is if they manage to find some really big optimizations. I guess we'll use broody things. So we use 4 of these. like this, because then we can set these to turn on, right? So essentially what we can do is we can say when this thing is here is done, it's turned on. Now the only problem is this solution is going to be a one-time thing, because the counter doesn't reset, right? So essentially what we're going to have to do is make it so that when the switch goes off, we'll have to set it so that when the switch goes off, it resets the lights. That'll probably solve that. Well, we should find now. So if we do that, we'll say when, we'll make a link to each of these. So make a link to each of these as well, because we have to control this from the switch, right? So we can say when the switch is, so when the switch is on, we don't want it to do anything. But when the switch is off, of course, we want to toggle the light off, right? So that's what we're going to need to do. So that's going to do nothing. So yeah, when the switch turns on, it does nothing because the randomizer decides what it does. So these need to be set to none. And these need to be set to none as well. So yeah, then what we should be able to do is if we go into this thing, turn it on, and does one of these turn on, or does it not? Did the Weevil trigger the pressure plate? Yes, if I jump on it, it does. Okay, so it looks like the Weevil didn't trigger the pressure plate. Let me try again. There you go. So yeah, it does sometimes. If he's right on the edge, it doesn't seem to trigger it. That one triggered too. So it looks like if the Weevil is... Oh, he was walking on the pressure plates, then it didn't trigger anything. Okay, interesting. Okay, turn this off again. Okay, let me move the switch a bit further back so I can kind of evaluate it better. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this works. That one turned on 3. That one turned on 1. That one turned on 4. Did he go into 4 again? Or did he go into 3 now? If I step on the pressure plate again... okay, so once the... I see why. I think I see why. So what we need to do is... This is what we need to do. So, the counter, I think, only triggers on condition change. I think we got to change the... We got to change this to on value changed, right? So that should then re-trigger if the value changes and not whether the condition passes or fails. So that's the difference between condition change and value change. So yeah, so we need to evaluate this thing every single value change. There you go, so we need to do that, and then we need to do that, right? Okay. Well, actually, no, we could probably send the switch to reset the counters when it's turned off, right? So that would work as well. Let's see. So yeah, you can't. What happens? Hang on a second. You can't reset. You can't eat straight from the fire either. Yeah, I heard that's the thing now. Yeah, that might be an oversight as well. Oh, what happened that time? Okay, so that time he kind of got stuck right there. So yeah, maybe we need to move the pressure plates out very slightly, or maybe just change the spawner to a red workaround, and that'll probably work better anyway. Okay, so let's try and change it to or I guess it could be as big as like a ladybug, couldn't it? Because it doesn't matter. Yeah, actually, it could be as big as a ladybug because it doesn't matter now on the size. So you could probably just put a ladybug here and make that work.
Hello there.
Let's see if that works. Yeah, maybe this will work. And let's try this out. And how you doing? Back down 10 on 60. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? All right, let's see. Does this work now? 2, 3. There you go. Randomizer. Aha! Oh, I think that one activated too. Okay, that time... Oh, the ladybug actually spawns further out though. Okay. Okay, so it does look like it can spawn further away sometimes. So yeah, it looks like because the Weevil is smaller, it has less chance to spawn outside. So I think we need to use a smaller creature. The ladybug works pretty well, but I think we need maybe the red workaround will work for this one. As long as the thing is right in the middle, it should work. Or maybe like or maybe even like a Tase Tea or something would work as well. Maybe we'll try Tase Tea. Let's try that. Okay. Will a Tase Tea work for this? Or does he float? Okay, that works. Where do you spawn? Okay, yeah. So no, Tasties also spawn outside. Okay. So yeah, maybe Tasties are too big. So yeah, the Weevil didn't spawn outside at all, did he? So yeah, maybe then. Okay, so yeah, it looks like we had to choose a Weevil then. Or could a... So the Tasties can sometimes spawn outside. See, that's the only other problem. You might need to surround the thing with like unspawnable terrain or something to make this not happen. But yeah, what about a red workaround? Let's try that then. That's the soldier ant. That's the workaround. We'll try that. We'll try that guy. Here we go. Let's try a red workaround and see if that works. That is a workaround, or is that a mate? That is a workaround. Okay. So does it work with the red workaround? But yeah, as you can see, that's a lot closer now. Because we want this to trigger every time, right? Did he spawn outside again? He did. Oh, he kind of spawned it in the wall here.
A common example of the Formicidae family.
Yeah, see, that's the only issue. Sometimes they can spawn in the walls like that. I don't know if there's a way in particular to limit that at all. But yeah, that seems to be... That's a true randomizer right there. There we go. How you doing? Just win, baby. Welcome in, dude. But there you go. That makes pretty much a... that's probably the closest we're going to get right now to a true randomizer. But yeah, as you can see, sometimes the ant does spawn outside. So yeah, Weevils might still be the best thing, because I don't think the Weevil ever did spawn outside. But we might have... Well, honestly, we might have to make this bigger. So instead of like a 4x4, you might even need to do a 5x5 to have the same effect. But roughly, that's roughly how you can do this. But yeah, as you see, it might require a bit more precision with some of the pressure plates to like move these out, because the creatures can kind of spawn between. So you might need to do something like that and just move them out a bit. But that's how you can pretty much make some kind of randomizer. Now, the way we'd improve this as well is currently I've got my switch to set the lights turned off. But what we'd want to do essentially is... essentially what we want to do instead is make it so that when the switch is turned off, it resets the counter. So what we want to do is we want to kind of link this up to this counter here. And link this up to each one. And when it's turned off, it sets the counter back to 0, right? And then that should hopefully... That should hopefully also, because of the way that counters work, preserve the random number till the switch is flipped on again. So what we should want to do then is we do nothing here, and when it's turned off, we go ahead and set the value to 0, and then we do the same on these ones. So we do nothing there, and when turned off, we go set value to 0, and then we do the same for number 3, because that will also mean that when the switch is turned off, that light will kind of remain in its same state. We're trying to make a randomizer. Is what we're trying to work on now. So yeah, because Tiny and Robbie were like, how can we make a randomizer? And you know, can we do this? And I was like, okay, so we're trying to make like a we can easily make a cyclic randomizer, but we're trying to make a true randomizer, right? To go ahead and do that. So we're trying to make one of these, because currently they don't exist in the game, but we're trying to see if we can make one. To work somehow. So we'll set value. Here we go. So that should work now by doing that, and then there you go. Does that work? Oh, it keeps the light on still. Okay, so we still need to do something so that when the value is set. Okay, oh yeah, we probably need to change it on condition failed. Turn the light off. But it does do that, so it does get reset to 0, but for some reason the lights don't reset themselves either, which is kind of a bit weird. But yeah, so maybe that wasn't the right way. But yeah, you can see it still does something, but yeah, because like reset doesn't kind of change a value, so we got to make it fire another signal again. I wonder if we can link this to like because that resets it to 0, and technically the switches then should. I don't know, because yeah, because setting a reset value doesn't do anything unless we use it. What about factory default? Does that do it? Does that work if we set it to factory default? No, because that sets the counter to be different, and we don't want that. Okay, so yeah, because I'm trying to see if we can set it so that it stays on constantly rather than resetting the. Because with lights and stuff, you can toggle them on and off, but with other things like inventory givers, you can't do that. So we need a different way. So yeah, maybe we need to use a logic gate between the lights and the switch. So yeah, that might be the solution. We need a logic gate, like an and just like a gate to say has it passed, and then evaluate the condition. But yeah, I don't know. That's the only problem we encounter when it doesn't fire, because you can reset and then increment. Oh, maybe we could do this. We could set it to reset. Ah, okay. Wait a minute. I got an idea. Maybe we can set it to reset, increment it, and decrement it again, and that might work. All right, my love. Okay then. I'll see you later, baby.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we can do that. So maybe we can reset it first, then we can increment it by 1, and then decrement it by 1, so that it will essentially force a value update. Maybe that can work. Yeah, maybe we're gonna do it like that, because that way we can essentially we can then force it to do. We can force it to do a comparison. So yeah, we'll try that. Because yeah, set value. So set value is going to be there, then increment and decrement. It would be nice if like you could get a readout of the counter value as well, just so you could see what it was. So you could increment and decrement like that, and then here we go. So we do that. Okay, so let's see, would that work? Okay, sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. So sometimes it holds it. Okay, so something's going on there. So something's going on. It's getting better. So when the update officially drops, this will be erased, right? No, we'll still be able to keep our current worlds. That's set value, right? So that's set value. Increment. I want to make sure that I've done this all in the right area. Ah, I did that one on switched on. Okay, so that's got to be none. That's why. Okay, I did it on switched on and not switched off. So that's got to be increment and then decrement there. That'll be why. Because I did it on switched on and not switched off. That one's correct. And then this one is also correct. So yeah, it was just number 2. Number 2! Right, is this right now? Okay, here we go. Let's try again. Okay, this time the ant spawned outside. Okay, so yeah, sometimes he will spawn outside. But yeah, that's pretty much as good of a randomizer as you're going to get. There you go. So yeah, that's pretty much as good of a randomizer you're going to get. But yeah, as you can see, it seems to pick 1 and 4 more than the others. And sometimes it'll just pick 3 and 2. There you go, it's picked 2. Yeah, it seems like it is a bit biased. So where you set it up might also determine what it chooses. But obviously having more states will also increase the will increase as well. So so why they say the 13th? Because that's when the update is coming out of public test into a full release. So that's when you'll be able to download it without going into public test. What's the difference? There'll be just bug fixes and stuff like that. So yeah, public test is like, you know, you can play, essentially you get the update early, but you also have to accept that there may be some bug fixes and stuff. Ty says, I'm back. Is it working? We want it for reasons. Well, this is what I got so far, Tiny. As you can see, it kind of chooses something randomly. Sometimes the ant does spawn outside, but for the most part, it seems to pick between some randomly. Seems to be picking between 2 and 3 at the minute, but sometimes it does pick 1 and 4 as well. There's a lot of times earlier it was picking 1 and 4. But yeah, every now and then the ant will spawn outside. There you go, it picked 1 then, and it picked 1 again. So there you go, that time it picked 4, that time it picked 3, that time it picked 1. So as you can see, it kinda does it, but sometimes it just picks nothing. Says, oh okay, I'm just gonna wait there until the 13th. But there you go, so it kinda works, right? But what you should be able to do then is link something like this up to like a signal generator, and then it will then give you, you know, based on the thing that it activates, it will then do the right thing, right? So you could set these out essentially to essentially what you can do is once you've done this, you can set this output instead of going to a light, set it to a receiver. So on 4 different channels, and then based on the channel it selects, it will do the random thing. So you could totally do that as well to have like different behaviors, and then you can use another switch state with an AND gate to check which randomizer is currently to check which output is currently needing to be activated. So you could totally do stuff like that as well. But yeah, that seems to work pretty well as a randomizer. Like, I think the only thing I change about it essentially is make it so that you'd want to make it so that instead of a 4x4, it's a 5x5, because I think if we set it up as a 5x5, we'll have more room to spawn the bugs. But yeah, you'll want to do it in a lab, and this can pick between 4 random states, right? So there is there is that. So it's kind of cool though. It's kind of cool how it works. But yeah, for the most part it works pretty good. It's just when the bugs kind of spawns outside the area, like it has done right now. I think it's either spawned outside or yeah, so that one spawned outside.
Example of the Formicidae family.
But yeah, so I think essentially if I make this like 1 wider, we'd avoid that issue entirely. And then if you want more random outputs, all you need to do would be to subdivide this into smaller chunks, right? And if you subdivide it, you'll get even more outputs. So yeah, kind of like reasons. But yeah, that's your randomizer. So essentially, make a bug spawner that's triggered with a switch, and then make like I've done here, 4 different subsections that's littered with pressure plates. Put all of these into a counter that's set to greater than 0. And then go ahead and link these essentially into this. And then what you're going to do is when you reset the switch, you just make it so that the counter, first of all, resets when the switch goes off. Then it's going to increment and then decrement again, so that you essentially reset the output when the switch is off. And that should technically give you for whatever reason just random results. So yeah, because that's the thing, the only thing that's random about this setup is where the bug spawns. So essentially all we're doing is capturing where it lands and then feeding that information back into one of those lights to notify us where it landed. And that's essentially the only thing. Now you can also make like a pseudo random thing as well. So if you wanted to do something that was like random via a cycle or something like that, you could probably do that as well. So you would essentially I think the way you do that would be with timers. So if we were to do a timer here, says what are these floors and walls? These are just lab sections that you find in the you find this lab in the new map. So essentially there's a new playgrounds exclusive map that you can go into where you can access like labs and stuff that you can decorate yourself. So yeah, this is essentially just our testing ground where we can just like test stuff out and see how we go. But yeah, they're pretty cool though. Like it's a pretty cool thing. But yeah, we can go ahead and put down like a clock, I think, and set this to just like every second, and essentially we make like a cyclic thing, right? And then based on which one you based on when you click it is when you get the random results. So this will be a smaller thing. So we don't want the timers to start on play either, because we want to trigger it. So we want to have this triggered by a timer that starts. So we're going to have like a master timer that starts the process off. So that starts on play. Then that's going to feed into the first timer, then the second timer. We did something like this yesterday when we were doing like the random lights and stuff. So we have a third timer. So say if we want a 4 random states here, we could just use a timer to then do this, right? So we can do that, and then essentially this loops around, and it will keep these timers going in like a clock. And then you can capture each of these outputs separately to then notify you. So when the timer happens, you can make it then push out a signal, and then it can detect and then essentially fire the random result based on the signal it pushes out, which is a lot nicer, right? So what you could do, I think, is we could make it so that you could probably link this to a button. Like this, and then we link and then for each of these you would link a logical gate to it. But can you link a button to a logic gate? Can you even link a timer to a logic gate? I don't even know. Let me see. I think you can. Maybe, let me see. Can we link a timer directly to a logic gate, or do we need to? Okay. So because the timer doesn't because the timer doesn't do this, we actually going to need to set up something else as well. So for every timer we have in our cycle, we need to have a switch state as well between these, right? So this is what we'll do. So we need a switch state between each of these timers. So we need 1, 2. It's probably better if we do this in the line, actually, because it'll be a bit clearer to see and understand. So we're going to go and grab this timer over here. And let me just turn off this light. I don't know whether Handy that insists on turning the light on every time. I wish it didn't. But yeah, we're going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to kind of move it over here. And then it's going to, once it gets to that timer, it cycles back to the beginning. But yeah, essentially, this switch state is going to record the output of that timer when it's activated, right? So we're going to, essentially, once the timer elapsed, we're going to activate the switch, but we're also going to do something else as well, right? So we're going to activate the switch when it elapses. So we'll do this one. So then we'll go and activate it. Now, because this timer is set to a 1 second pulse, essentially what we can do, we can then, again with this one, we can link it to this switch. And then we can do that one. Oh, hang on a second. So yeah, this is going to be like for a cyclic randomizer. So depending on how long it takes the player to get somewhere, will determine what happens. But then what we also want to happen is when we've got this one here, because yeah, these things we can feed into an AND gate, right? So that's fine, or like a logical gate or something to give us the output that we want. So then, once we've done that, what we'll end up doing then is we also need to send a signal to another timer to shut this switch off 1 second later. So we're going to go ahead and essentially create another timer. We'll just remove all the links for now. And then we'll go ahead and do... And this is a lot easier to do. Essentially, this kind of thing is a lot easier to make more states in, because there's less things you have to decide on. But essentially then, this thing here will toggle another timer. So this thing here is going to... Oh yeah, we got to make sure that this sets to start timer, right? So all these need to be set to start timer, not toggle timer. We just want it to start the timers. Because otherwise, if you set it to toggle timer, like you'll get weird behaviors. So make sure these are all set to start timer as well. And essentially then we're going to make this one a link here to then start a timer. And then that timer again is going to last 1 second. And then again, same here. So we're going to make this one start a timer again. And then same with this one. We'll make this one start a timer again. But yeah, it's kind of cool. But yeah, it's a bit of a slower process because you have to like wait for a timer to elapse before you can get any kind of results. So then we're going to start a timer there. Okay, so yeah, this one will have like a 1 second delay, but if you like start the timer like before the player gets to the area, you can go and do that. Now with each of these timers, essentially, what we want to do is once this timer lapses, we're going to we're essentially going to make it, now the arrows kind of overlap a bit, which is a bit unfortunate, but we're going to make it essentially so that when it does that, it deactivates the thing, because by the time this is passed, so is this timer, which means the next one is active in the chain. So essentially we're going to do that, and we're going to go keep doing it again. So then this one again, and the reason we need switches is so that it can work into a logic gate, right? And that's why it's going to do that, because you can't feed a timer directly into a logic gate because it only sends a blip. It doesn't send a constant pulse, whereas a switch does send a constant signal. That one's going to be deactivate as well. So yeah, set that to deactivate, and then finally we do this one. So yeah, this is a 4-state randomizer, but this one is cyclic random and based on a timer and not based on a random position. So this is not truly random, but for the purposes of when a player gets there at a random point in their time in the world, would technically be kind of random anyway, so it's pretty good. So we'll deactivate that. So there's essentially what's going to happen. So you'll see that the timers go off, then they flip a switch. And then what we'll do is we're going to go get some lights here. Well, actually, first of all, we need to put some logical gates down here. So what we want to do is we want to put I'm going to put 4 logical gates here on the end, and these need to be set to all. So we're going to set these to all, because what we want to do is we want to detect when the button is pressed and when this switch is turned on, right? So we need to make sure that these are set to all. And we're going to do 4 of these, so you need 1 of these per timer that you have. So in our case 4, and then essentially we're going to send the signal from these switches out into this all gate right here. So we're going to go do that. Can I do that one? Yes, we can. And then this one right here. There you go. Yeah, as you can see, lots of links and lots of chains, but it's something. It'd be nice if we could like snap these to a bit of a grid as well, just to make things look a little bit neater for our circuits. But you know, a feature we could see in the future maybe. But yeah, what we're gonna do now essentially is we need to record when the button is pressed as well. So for that, unfortunately, you can't just like the timer. The button sends a pulse, so you cannot link it directly into a logic gate. So that's why we have the switch one, because then we can go ahead and link it essentially into a switch that turns it on. So when we press the button, it's going to activate the switch, and then that switch then feeds into the logic gates to check whether we've both pressed the button and one of these four things is active. And then the outputs of that go into a light. Now we also want to make sure that the button turns itself off, or the switch resets itself. So what we also want to do is again grab another one of these timers. Again, this is set to 1 second, right? So this is set to 1 second, it doesn't repeat, and essentially we'll make the button trigger this timer, which then turns off this switch. So the button, when you press it, turns on. So that activates the switch, but then 1 second later, the switch then deactivates again. So it will turn itself off automatically. And then once we got those, essentially we then need to feed these into... Essentially then we feed the signal into the AND gates here. So this will now detect if the switch is pressed and if one of these four switches are on, right? So that'll detect both. And finally, we just run each of those out into a light to detect which is our random result. So if we go ahead and I'll get these small mant lights because these look kind of nice. We'll go ahead and do this. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And essentially now we just go grab each one of these outputs from our logic gate. Let me put this. Let me actually put this in the middle. It'll be a little bit neater, I think. So I'll put the button. We'll put the button ahead here, and then we'll put the timer kind of right next to this thingy right here. So it's kind of all in a line. There you go. So yeah, then all we're gonna do is take each of these and output it to a light, or into something else, right? You can output this into anything to then have it, you know, activate. So we should find this. So for the first second, this thing won't work, but after the 1 second has elapsed, if you set this timer to automatic, it will then start working. Okay, so all that's going to do then is just activate the light. And then we also need it to deactivate itself later, I guess, but let's see. But yeah, it will then activate that one thing that's on. Now, we might need to add some extra things into here to like deactivate stuff when we press it again. So that might be something we have to do. But I think if we go into the thingy now, let that run a bit. We press this, hopefully. Does this work? There you go. So that then turned on. So yeah, it looks like for the most part it's doing something, but let's see. So in theory, this is what should happen, but I could have set up something wrong as well here. So we got our switch that triggers and then activates this right here. So that part there is fine. I just want to make sure that this is set to... That is set to activate. Yes, it is. This should be set to start timer, not toggle timer. That's probably what's wrong. And then this one is set then to deactivate. Yeah, so you've got to be careful that you don't set things to toggle. You want it to set to start, because otherwise random things happen. And that might be why as well. I think this backwards arrow that's leading here is actually set to toggle the timer off. So this big long arrow that's kind of going back all the way is set to toggle. We want that to start the timer. So essentially that should then go in a big cycle, right? And that might be what we need to do to fix it. So let's try that. So wait a couple of seconds. Then we press it. There you go. Oh, okay. Sometimes it kind of does that. So if you press it like between two states, it actually does. Oh, okay. That's actually really interesting. Okay, so it doesn't quite work as well as I thought it would, but it actually sometimes gives out several results at the same time. Okay, so it sort of works, but then it kind of switches states. It switches states as well halfway through. Now that is kind of interesting because yeah, you'd want it to just like. You'd want the light to get toggled on the AND, but I guess you could like not include the AND gate and just go straight to the light, which would also maybe work as well. But you kind of need that to kind of toggle it. So I guess because the switch statement holds the switch thing kind of holds the info, doesn't it, for more than a second, so it can actually flip between time as well. So yeah, it kind of works, but it kind of doesn't as well. Like in theory, I was like, yeah, this would work well, but it actually doesn't work as well. So I still think even though this solution is bigger and more cumbersome, it is a better solution. Like this will kind of work and give you something sort of random, But yeah, you'll see that the result kind of changes halfway through a time interval as well. So yeah, you'll see, yeah, you see that that happened. I pressed that and it sort of changed. Yeah, and that time it gave me 2. And then for whatever reason, the 4th light stays active, and I'm not sure why. There's probably something I set up, incorrectly in this one as well. Like, I probably set that to... Did I set one of these to, like, toggle or something? Toggle activated. Ah, yeah, that one's meant to be just activate. There we go. So, yeah, that was set to... yeah, these all need to be set to activate, don't they? Yeah, that'll be why. That's probably why. Get set to toggle and not just activate. So now, at least, we should get rid of that problem. There you go. But, yeah, you can see that it kind of... You can see that it does pick a random one. Oh, now it's still saying on 4. I don't know why it's doing that, like, random 4th one. But, yeah, could be because it's at the end of the cycle or something like that. So, yeah, there might be some weird behavior that goes on with it. But, yeah, there is some weird stuff going on. How you doing, Chef Dave? Welcome in, dude. But, yeah, that's kind of how you would sort of do a pseudo-random timer. It's not the most elegant solution. There's probably a way better way to do it. But, yeah, just as a way to kind of, like, capture the signal out and then give you the thing that you want is probably like what you need to do. So it kind of works, but not quite. Says, thank the gods you're alive. Fiance and the kids are picking out Lego boxes to buy. Oh, really? Oh, that sounds cool. I used to play with Lego a lot when I was younger. But yeah, this one is definitely the best. This one is definitely the best solution, because you can see it always generates a random result, right? So that's pretty good. Apart from when the ant spawns outside, but for the most part, it just generates a random result every time. Not much effort needed, so that's probably the best solution right there. Says I have two shaky hands for Lego. I love Lego. I thought Lego was absolutely awesome. Yeah, I gotta figure out why that last one is staying on. Am I making this last time a repeat or something? Is that one repeating? No, it's set to 1 second. So are any of these timers like set on a repeat? So that's not repeating either. I just want to make sure that none of these are set to like start on something, because these all had to be off. This one we do want to start on play, but we don't want it to repeat, and then these ones should all be the same, right? Start on play, turn off. Start on play, turn off. So yeah, I'm not sure why the last one is kind of... I'm not sure why that last one is kind of going back into like the other thing. Yeah, I'm not sure what I've done that's caused that last light to stay active all the time. Hang on. Have I set a state between this one and this one? Oh, did I miss it? Hang on. That might be why. I might not have set it to deactivate. So that one is set to activate. This one, which goes between the longer state here. So this timer here on output needs to lead there, right? But I think we've actually got that link already. Let me move this to the side and see.
I pinch.
What?
I
Pinch? What? Maybe little pinch? Well, guys, you've got to twerk it, and shake that butt with Iggy. Because if you twerk it hard enough in the playground, you're gonna be springy. Shake that ass, make a randomizer, and it's gonna make us all say, ooh, ooh. Twerk it, and shake that Iggy butt. How you doing, Crystal? Welcome to the stream. How are you today? Welcome in. Okay, wait, is that one set to activate? That one needs to be set to... There you go, that's it. It needs to be set to deactive. Okay, that'll be why. Okay. So yeah, so that button press and activates that switch state. It'd be nice if we could like activate it instantly and then deactivate it straight away. Because yeah, the issue is this switch is staying activated for 1 second, which then allows the AND gate to stay active for longer. But that should then fix it. Yeah, we set that the wrong way. Okay, so here we go. So we're gonna go and do that one, and you can see now if we press one of these, one of those lights randomly lights up. There we go. But you can see, like, sometimes it will go, like, between it, which is weird. Oh, now the 4th one just isn't lighting up at all. Okay, but there you go. That's somewhat how you get random results out of these. So that's set to evaluate. And then that one should be set to deactivate, right? And that one up there... No, this one needs to be set to activate, and the other one needs to be set to deactivate. So that one should be activate there. And that one there should be deactivate. There we go. Right, is that better now? Did I do it? Did I do it properly now? Let's find out. Let's find out if I did it properly this time. There we go. So yeah, you can see now it chooses like, so essentially whenever the player presses the button, one of these things will just be randomly chosen. Now you can obviously like get away with this by, you know, that's the other thing. Every now and then it'll choose like another random one, depending on when you hit the switch, which is a little bit of a weird issue with this one. But yeah, unfortunately you can't set the timer for less than 1 second to sort of get around that problem. I think the minimum you can set it to is 1, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Which kind of sucks. So yeah, that's the other thing, because this switch is essentially holding information essentially for 1 second. I mean, I guess you could get around by just using a regular switch, and then it would go ahead and then say, but the other way you could do it is to also set up another AND gate to make sure none of the other ones are active. But then that's just like a whole other convoluted sort of thing, isn't it? And that kind of won't work. Because yeah, what we need to do is turn this lengthened pulse back into a blip. And I'm not sure how you do that. I'm not sure how you would because that's essentially what we need to do. Because currently, like, this is holding a signal, and so is this. Whereas the timers send out a blip, which is kind of what we need. But in order to evaluate that blip, we need the we can only link it. We can only link timers through a logic gate. Because I don't think we can link a button directly to, or can we? Can we link a button directly to one of these? So if you can link a button directly to it, then there'll be no need. But no, as you can see, you cannot link a button directly to a logic gate to trigger a blip pulse, unfortunately. So yeah, that's the only issue with this kind of setup. So yeah, it is possible to make a pseudo-random thing as well. So, you know, just select a random one for you. But as you can see, like, it will end up selecting 2 results more than half the time. So 50% of the time you get 1 result, and then, you know, you might get 2 results. Yeah, for the most part you'll get 2 results essentially. But yeah, how you been, Crystal? I hope you've been keeping well. And let's see, thank you for the shout out. Thank you, Curtis, giving Crystal a shout out. But yeah, this generator works a lot better. You know, you flip a switch, and you get a random result like this. So yeah, this one works a lot better based on where the red ant spawns. So yeah, this one definitely works a lot better, like, apart from when the ant spawns outside. But I think this is your best bet at a randomizer. So if you're looking for a randomizer with X amount of states, this is your best bet. You can make it a 2-state randomizer, a 4-state randomizer. Says, I like the first randomizer best. So yeah, this one definitely works better. Although you can see that, you know, the ant did kind of step on that as well. So sometimes, every now and then, you will unfortunately get the issue where they do run into 2 pressure plates. I think currently that's unavoidable based on the size of creatures and the fact that they can clip through walls. And unfortunately, there's not much you can do about that. So I guess the only way you would kind of combat that is to make it take only the first signal and then deactivate the randomizer. So you could probably put this into a button as well to spawn the creature, and then a second later despawn it, and then, you know, it would then hold the state for like 1 second. So essentially you replace the switch with a timer, and then you'd then have like a switch state after that, and then a button in front of the entire lot to trigger it. But yeah, that's essentially how you'd make some kind of randomizer. So yeah, it looks kind of complicated in ways it kind of is. But yeah, this is your best bet for a randomizer. Like I said, cyclic randomizers do kind of work, but they're not the best ones, unfortunately. So yeah, you'll end up you'll end up having it select several states. Chris says, doing okay. Work has been pure hell this week, having issues with a coworker and a few problem clients, so it's a shit show. Oh man, yeah. Trust me, I know about problem clients. I've worked with a few before. I know all about the pain and suffering that they like to bring, and it's yeah, it's not great, is it? But I hope the week goes past very, very good. It says, do you need a really annoying cat to bother them? Because we're gonna have 3 of them at home when we get back from travels, and I'll be happy to lend them out. Teddy, why are you on the bed? get on your own one. Get on your own one. You silly bugger. Yeah, Teddy's up on the bed. He shouldn't be up there. He knows he's not allowed up there, little bugger. I just heard like some sniffling behind me, and I was like, okay, what's going on over here? But yeah, essentially this is how we can set up like a randomizer. So yeah, I think the only way we can optimize this further is to make the randomizer larger, right? So essentially what you want to do is, instead of having this as a 4x4, make it a 5x5, because then there's no way that the creatures can spawn outside. I think they spawn in a circular radius as well. I think the radius is a circle. So if you want to make a true randomizer with 8 sections, for example, you would need to do you need to kind of like divide this down the middle and do that. Says no thank you, I wouldn't mind a dog to bite the ankles of the coworker who's an asshole though. Oh yeah, that's true. But yeah, I think because it spawns in a circular pattern and not a square, you would need something like that. But you could also change this to a Weevil to reduce the spawn radius. So I think smaller creatures take up less space, right? So, you know, smaller creatures also have less of a chance of triggering the incorrect one. So if I set it to a Weevil, it'll probably work better for the most part anyway. Like, I mean, there'll be every now and then where it doesn't trigger. But then I guess that's kind of the thing. Yeah, see, this time it didn't trigger. The Weevil. Oh yeah, he did actually still spawn outside.
Hot on the trail.
So yeah. He did actually spawn outside as well, which is kind of interesting. Sadly, we have no doggos. No, just cats, no dogs. Yeah, we got cats and dogs over here. we're full of pets and surprises. But yeah, this is how you'd make a randomizer. I think that's like your best kind of bet to doing one of these things. So yeah. But yeah, it was a good challenge posed by Tidy and Robbie. So thank you guys so much for like getting me involved in this one. But yeah, hopefully something like this will work for you, and then you can, like I said, instead of having lights at the end of this, link this up to like one of those senders and receivers to evaluate where you essentially link it out to evaluate when something has been sent and received, and that should work. Like I said, this one, the pseudo one, sort of works, but it's not as good. Like, this one is nowhere near as good. It does give a more uniform distribution of randomness, but it's nowhere near as nowhere near as good. So yeah, I wouldn't rely on one like this. I would try and make something like this, hide it in the lab somewhere that no one's going to find it, and then, you know, trigger that based on like signal volumes and stuff, and that'll be pretty much all you need. That's probably the most complicated thing I've made in the playgrounds so far. Like there's probably more complicated things, but yeah, that's probably I think that's definitely the most complicated thing I've made in the playgrounds, which is kind of funny. All right, so let's go ahead and head out of here. So yeah, I think what we'll do though is we'll start doing more work on the game cannot be saved right now. Proceed. Yeah, that's fine. I pretty much remember how that all works now. But yeah, that's kind of funny. But I think we'll go ahead and work on more of the arena stuff. So I'll go back into this one. And then here we go. So we're going to do this one. And then we're going to go into Grasslands, which is this one. Yeah, we'll work more on the Haze Arena. How do you like to do it? In design mode. There you go. Go into design view from the beginning. I like how it kind of asks you how you want to do it. But yeah, this is like the Haze Arena that we've been working on. The only problem is you can't put exploding haze fungus down here, which is kind of a shame. I wish you could, but unfortunately that thing is not available right now. But yeah, I do want to kind of add a little bit of stuff to like behind the shovel here. Just to make it, look like it's done some stuff. Got to keep an eye on Teddy as well. Make sure he's not chewing stuff up. Just make sure he's not chewing stuff up every now and then. But yeah, essentially, I've got this arena, so like you have to like navigate around a little bit this time. Like it's not just like an open arena. So like, I'm trying to make it so like each arena has like its own unique challenge as well. So this one, you kind of have to like navigate around a little bit, and you know, you can use the shovel as cover, but you've also got to make sure you don't get caught on fungal growths and then things come in and blow you up, right? Because you're going to be, essentially in this arena, you're going to be fighting a lot of infected creatures. Now, I'm going to have to obviously add a blocking volume on here because you can kind of, you know, get out and over the sides here. And yeah, we'll probably have to, you know, maybe I'll move that paint can a little bit lower down as well, because it's kind of like up off the ground here. Like from the inside of the arena, it kind of looks like it's in the ground, so it looks fine. But from the outside, you know, if the player gets outside, they're going to kind of see, oh, the paint can is just floating there. So I might need to kind of, well, I could probably keep it there. I can just add some floor underneath it, couldn't I, to kind of make it look a bit more convincing. Because there's these like very big sort of structures that we can use. So yeah, that one doesn't have a bottom part. But yeah, we can probably use some of these big structures to kind of make it look like something's there. Probably these like big old cliffs or something, and we can just like dot these underneath. Yeah, kind of like dot these underneath the paint can, and that'll be good. So yeah, then if the player gets out and is looking from it from the outside, they're not going to see just like a random flying paint can. So yeah, if the player sees it from the outside, we kind of want it to look, you know, somewhat convincing, right? So yeah, we'll do something like that, and then it kind of looks like at least it's partly in the floor, and that works well enough, doesn't it? So yeah. We do that, and then yeah, we just kind of like fill this out with some more cliffs and stuff on the edge here, and then that works. So yeah, we just kind of fill that in. There you go. Because yeah, then from the outside, it's like, yeah, this paint can is just like kind of on a bit of a cliff edge thing, but it's not floating anymore, which is good. Kind of says, is the educational tutorial over? Yeah, that was the only question I had. Was how to make a randomizer by Tiny and Robbie. So yeah, I guess that's that concludes the educational segment of the video, right? So yeah, that concludes the educational part. And now a message from today's sponsor. Wait, what is today's sponsor? I don't fucking know. But yeah, but there you go. That's pretty much, yeah, that's the educational part all done and done. Can I zoom this out a bit so I can place this more freely? Because I also need to kind of hide the back end of this pipe, don't I, with some extra terrain. Wait, is that going to kind of intrude on this side though? No, that's fine. Yeah, that looks fine over this side. Yeah, I just want to make sure that the back end of this pipe is sort of hidden away as well. So yeah, we kind of want to zoom out here and then turn it. Oh no, not that way. Reset rotation and then turn it that way. Then kind of, yeah, just hide this pipe from behind. Because yeah, we kind of worked on the arena from the inside, but yeah, I kind of need to also make sure that, you know, this some of these other sections are a little bit hidden away. Now, it doesn't really matter what the outside looks like, because most players aren't going to see the outside. We just got to, like, handle the odd escapee or two. You know, that's the only thing we got to... That's the only thing we've got to handle. But yeah, that looks better. And now we got some stuff in the pipe. I will be adding, like, some hidden stuff in this arena as well that the player can find to help them in their fights. But yeah, this is like the haze arena. The only thing we can't add right now is those exploding haze fungal growths. I hope in the future they do allow these to be added. But yeah, at the current point in time, these cannot be added just at the minute. So it's kind of a shame. We can kind of like use these to make like these are kind of cool because these look like these almost look like, you know, little neural networks or something from like the fungus and stuff. So we can kind of like link these together. You know, kind of make like little decor, like, you know, little bits of decor like that. And then, you know, we kind of link that, maybe that fungal growth over there has got a big old root that's kind of, you know, neurally linked to all the other ones. You know what I mean? Because it's that's kind of like how mycelium sort of works. It kind of links to other parts of the chain. So we can kind of like do bits of decoration like that, right? And we can kind of make them, you know, look like they're somewhat linked together, which is pretty cool. So yeah, we can kind of do that, and then maybe one over here going under the root. So maybe we can go from like this one and then link it sort of across. Because yeah, it kind of makes from some like nice designs and stuff, right? So kind of link those together and then have like another kind of tendril coming off of this way. And then kind of link that up to here. I don't know if this will mess with bug pathing, but hopefully it won't. We can just kind of have that one go under the leaf or something. So it kind of goes out the way. But there you go, yeah. So you can do like stuff like that just to add. It just adds a little bit, you know what I mean? This is like little details like that. Let's see. It's kind of small, isn't it? Says you should set them as hidden triggers. See, that's the thing. Like, I don't think you can make a hidden trigger deal damage to a player unless it's from like a shock pillar or something. But yeah, I'd love to be able to like have these fungal growths like explode on the player when they get too close, just like they do in survival. The arena is kind of small, but that's the idea. Like, you know, you don't want infinite room to run around. So yeah, this whole area here is the playable area. I may remove this tree root though. I may remove this one to give a bit more room to run around down here. Actually, yeah, I might remove that one because that gives a bit of room over this area just to kind of move around. And I'll put a different obstacle here, because that may also stop the player just from escaping from the arena itself as well. So yeah, I think I'll put something different in this area. But what do we put in here? Maybe another leaf or something, or one of these like large obstacles we could put over here. We could have one of these army men. Yeah, actually, that'd be quite cool. Yeah, we should have like an army man just like in the back here. So yeah, you can kind of put this guy like right there. There you go. Yeah, so yeah, we can have like an army man kind of like on the floor here, just like another obstacle that the player has to like navigate around. See, we got like one of the jacks over there, this big shovel in the middle, and then we got this guy like over the side. Maybe move him over a little bit to, you know, maybe move him a bit more centrally into this area. Right, I want him kind of want him on the ground here. Here we go. Try and trigger it like that. Yeah, maybe make him a bit more central, like right there. There you go. Yeah, that's better, because then it's kind of got a bit more room around it. But yeah, so yeah, each of the arenas is like, there's not going to be many waves per arena, but each arena is kind of small, just to kind of get you as I'm excited to download it and play the Max Fox Battle Arena. Is this PvE? Yeah, PvE, but currently it only supports one player. I need to add extra logic to support additional players at the moment. So yeah, currently it's only a one player arena. But eventually, I'm sure we'll be able to get it to support extra. So I think the only thing I need to do then is add some like blockers up the top so that the player can't get out of the arena. So that's probably the best thing I can do. Just add like some blockers so they don't fly out. Because yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's possible to. I know it's possible to trigger like a firework to fire into the player to like do an explosion, but I think that will damage the bugs as well, which obviously we don't want to happen because that would just make it so that the player doesn't have to fight the bugs at all. But yeah, they don't provide us with the exploding haze fungus, unfortunately, so we can't really use that in our build, which is a shame. You know, because I would like to be able to use that. But yeah, you can go and just add these like little, you know, there's like all different sized pieces here. We can kind of add these around as well. But why is this thing in the ground? I don't want it like in the ground. I want it to kind of like come out the ground. Yeah, so we can add like a few little details around here just to, you know, make it a little bit tricky to traverse. But then the bugs, you know, because they're infected ones, they should be fine. I'm probably going to have because this is like a haze arena, I'm probably going to spawn a stink bug in here at one point as well to kind of do the gas hazard, because all the infected bugs are like resistant to the gas hazard, aren't they? So it can make it so that there's still gas coming in. See, that's another thing I hope they add as well. The ability to like make a gas volume so that we can like trigger the gas to like spawn in ourselves. That'd be kind of nice as well. So yeah, making like a gas volume would be kind of ideal. Unfortunately, we can't currently do that yet. There's also these little rocks that I quite like as well, so we can kind of place these down on the ground somewhere as well. You know, just a couple of little rocks dotted around just to add a bit of, you know, adds a little bit of character to the area. You know, and just makes it like, you know, it's just a little bit of extra color and just makes it look a bit nicer. But yeah, there's lots of decorations and stuff we can put into here. But yeah, once you got this, we can then work on like the logic and how we're going to spawn everything in. Is there anything I want to include above the arena? This side looks kind of bland and blessed, so I probably want to add something over here. So yeah, what else do we see near the haze that we've got kind of access to? I don't know. So these are all like roots. Let's look at these like large objects and stuff. I mean, I know the baseball is kind of close to the haze, so we could add like a baseball on the outside. Got these big sand shovels as well, but that's kind of thing I want for the sandbox arena. This is going to be like for the picnic table one. There's other paint cans. Like I guess we could add. Well, there is a poncho thing in the haze, isn't there? So that's the. Which one's that one? Because it's the peach fuzz one, isn't it? I think that's the lemon crime one. Which one's the peach fuzz? That's that one. Yeah, there we go. So peach fuzz. See, we can add a poncho box somewhere just on the outside, just to add something, you know, just to add some more like visual stuff. Like this stuff is not going to be in the arena, but you know, it'd be nice to have like some extra visual details here, you know, because I think that'd be kind of cool. So maybe we'll add this one and we'll rotate it so it's kind of like leaning over a little bit, and then rotate it like that way. There you go. So we can kind of see. Then from the inside here, then once we're like over this side, we can see the peach fuzz juice box over there. You know, just to add a little bit of like extra, you know, kind of like a little bit extra stuff to look at. And then yeah, we just want to add some probably collider blockers onto the top of this thing. Is there any other things you want to add? Because I've already added the mushrooms. This stuff is found in the upper yard. The honey pot is for the picnic table arena. Oh, the Dan hamster grave is also found in the haze as well, isn't it? So maybe we'll add this. Okay, let me just put this down so I can see what the orientation is of this thing. And then we want to kind of rotate it this way, right? So yeah, maybe adding like the hamster grave as well, so we can kind of see that. Someone's gonna make an army man battle. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, if we add that kind of grave up in here, yeah, there we go. So yeah, now we got a bit more visual information to just kind of see. And then behind that, we can just add like a bit of like dry grass and stuff behind it, because you find all that in the haze too. So under large harvestables here, we can just add like all the random bits of dry grass just here. Now we can probably take this out of the. We can probably take this all out of here, and we can just add like, yeah, just add a few of these just around the edge. And then we should be good. Teddy, get down. Oh my god, you are chewing. Oh shit, no. You've chewed up the. Hang on. Have you chewed up the tire? Oh shit. Please don't tell me you chewed it up. There we go. Ooh, okay, that was lucky. Lucky I got up there. Right. lucky I got it. Right. Yeah, these are not toys. These are not toys. On your bed. Come here, Teddy. Those are not toys. You have your bone down here. Look, you buried your bone. Look, you have this. Okay, chew on that one. On that one, yeah, he was little bugger was going for the tiger on the bed, and that's a very sentimental thing. Luckily, I turned around. It says pooping in the house. No, not in the house. But yeah, he knows he's not meant to be up there. He knows he's not meant to be up there. he's sitting now. He's looking at me. He's like, huh? And how you doing, Shelby? Welcome to the stream. How are you today? Yeah, Teddy, you little bugger. Yeah, you're not meant to eat that. How's it going, Shelby? I hope you're doing well. But yeah, I might have to take him outside in a little bit though, because I think he's getting there. I think he's getting ready for like pooping, because that's just what Teddy does. He poops, and that's pretty. he poops and chews stuff. It's like I am Teddy Lannister. I poop and I chew things. So yeah, I think that's what he's doing. I've given him his bone now though, so he should hopefully not chew up any more stuff. But yeah, we'll go and drop these bits of dry grass in here, just to add a little bit. It kind of adds a little bit of extra stuff to look at. And then yeah, there you go. So yeah, even with that little bit of dry grass, it already looks a load better. So we'll add a couple more of these like grass blades and stuff in here. I like how you can place like individual blades of grass now. That's actually really cool, isn't it? So we'll go do that, and then yeah, let me bring this closer so I can kind of more accurately fit it to the floor, like that. And then we can add like a few, and then I can just rotate it like this, and then add. No, hang on, reset rotations, and then bring it as close as I can, and then go to this axis. Here we go. Because yeah, I kind of want to just like add a bit of add like some bits of dry grass around the edge, just to kind of give it the look of the haze area, because it's for the haze is for like dead and dry grass, isn't it? So I kind of want to kind of add to it just a bit. And just turn these around. I know Obsidian have like an automatic grass placer as well, because like I know they like had something that placed the grass automatically. I wish we had that as well, like the access to that kind of grass tool that sort of auto populates with random pieces, because that'd look kind of nice, I think. There you go, but we can do that, and then hopefully none of these are visible from underneath. Yeah, so that looks pretty cool like that. There you go. Then we can add like a little bit behind the grave. And we just like rotate them randomly just to kind of add these together, because I know some of the grasses were like individually placed, but yeah, most of the grasses that were placed in the backyard were not placed by hand. They were actually all like programmatically placed and rotated, so there was no collisions. So yeah, I can kind of add a few of these behind this juice box. There you go. And then, we don't need to add it like everywhere, just to the point where we can like see some, right? So it kind of looks like we're still in the grassy area. So that's looking pretty good. Joey says, Kai, thank you, friend. Justin says, he says it looks like a perfect toy. Come on. Kai says, so many lines. There we go. See, that's looking pretty good. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Right. The only other thing I need to do is kind of add a couple of clumps of dirt or something over to this corner, just to kind of make it look like, that like I don't want too much of the mushroom wall to be revealed. So we kind of want to go and add a few of these things. Let's get this big old. Does this big one have like collision under it? Yeah, it does. I just want to add something like into this corner right here, because it's kind of looking a little bit out of place, isn't it there? So we'll add like this just in the corner. There you go. Then we kind of add that. Then that sort of hides the wall a little bit. I don't mind this wall at the back being shown, because like that's obviously the entrance. But yeah, for the rest of it, I kind of want the player to feel like immersed inside an actual haze-like environment, right? So the less like mushroom walls we have, probably the better. And speaking of that, we can go ahead and hide. We can kind of use these to sort of hide this wall in the back here. So yeah, just some of these like very small rocks, just to sort of sort the back out there. There you go. That's kind of hidden. Like you can see a couple of little white spaces there, but that's fine. But yeah, I think for the haze arena layout, that's actually pretty good. I think we're pretty good there. Says work time. Peace out. So baby, no worries, dude. Thank you so much for popping along. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and hopefully we'll catch you soon. All right. But yeah, there's a bit of mushroom wall back there, but that's fine. That's just like the edge of the arena, and that'll be fine. Okay, so that looks like it's a pretty good start for the haze arena. So next thing we need to do, a 45 by 45, one octagon each segment has 4 doors. All doors to close upon one all doors to close on one pressure plate. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can do that, but yeah, it does require a lot of lines. I mean, what you could do though is you could just make it so that the pressure plate sends out a signal into a transmitter, and then just have a receiver by each door that then just sends the signal to close the doors. Right? You could just do it that way. That might be the easiest solution. I'd say that's probably the easiest solution, so you don't have as many lines crisscrossing everywhere. So yeah, I would look into the receivers and transmitters to do something like that. It'll require a bit more work to set up, but once that's done, it'll be a lot neater, right? So I'd probably look into that as a way to kind of get around that. Mini dice? Oh, is that what's found in the hedge lab? Yeah, it is. How you doing, Hell? Welcome to the stream, dude. How are you today? All right. Kaya says, I've already started. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we can get the logic set up for this thing. So the first thing we're going to need, obviously, is a telepody into this thing, and this is the 4th arena, right? So I'm kind of trying to keep my telepody logic kind of similar, and it's been a while since I set one of these up, so I gotta like remember how I did this. So yeah, what we need is one of these guys, and then we're gonna make the snap to the floor, and then this guy can go. Let me turn this light off. Can I turn this light off? No, it's gonna reset rotations for now. Okay, so one telepody needs to be like there you go. So this thing we need to set to channel 4, because this will be what happens when I teleport into this arena, right? So that's fine. So there's that guy. Now I can turn the light off. That's a bit better. So next thing we need to do is set up a couple of trigger volumes. Says, oh, what? Nearly 3 hours already? Dang, should have checked for a stream 2 hours ago when I got up. Ah, well, it doesn't matter. It's all good. But how you been, dude? I hope you've been keeping well. Right, so we'll go and grab this one. How are your teeth in that today? I hope you're feeling a bit better. All right, so we need to add a trigger volume here. And we're going to increase the size of that by 1 to a 2 wide trigger volume. And then obviously we need to increase the height of this as well. So it kind of covers the entire doorway there. Because yeah, essentially this thing is going to open the... this thing here is going to open the doors if the player dies. And then, reset the arena, essentially, is what's going to happen. So yeah, if a player dies and steps into this thing, the doors will then reopen so that then they can go back into the arena to, try the fight again. So that's the first trigger volume set. And then we need to make a second one once they're inside the arena here. And this one is going to be used to close the doors, right? So this one we need to kind of make a bit wider. So, as soon as they're in this thing, and the doors close, then it will then go ahead and start the stuff off as well. We also want to make it so that so here's what we do. So this first trigger volume here, I'm going to say when this trigger volume is placed, we're going to link it to both of these doors here and here. It doesn't want to link it for some reason. Okay, let me come out of handy nap mode. Maybe that'll be a bit more useful. Do it from the ground. So we'll link that one to this door and this door. And we're going to say that this guy, we want it to unlock and open the doors, right? So that's the first thing we want it to do. So we want it to unlock and open the door. And then the same with this one. So yeah, when a player steps into this thing, yeah, unlock and open. So unlock and open these. Even though they're already set to open by default, it will kind of reset it back to unlocked and open afterwards. So then for these ones, essentially, we want to go ahead and do the same thing. So we'll come into here. And these two... why can I not set these doors here? Can it not link to that for some reason? Palisade gate. Okay, what is going on with this? What's going on with this trigger volume? Maybe I gotta do it from this side so I can kind of see it. Okay, there we go. So that's set to... No, that's set to the other trigger gate. Okay. I guess I got to set it to this other trigger gate first, and then I can just set it to these after. There you go. And then we just remove that area there. Okay. So now we've got that one. Hal says, still just cold sensitive. Getting tired of drinking tea and hot chocolate. Yay, I bet. Or like living off soup or something, right? Yeah. Doesn't sound good. But yeah, I really hope you managed to get that sorted like very, very soon. But I know we've talked about plenty of like dental stuff before, haven't we, and just how ridiculous it is. But yeah, I hope for the best for you though. Okay, so we're gonna this time, so when a player steps in here, it's going to go ahead and close these doors, right? So it's gonna close these ones, and it's gonna close the door. Yeah, it's gonna close the door, and it's gonna lock the door as well, so then the player can't get out of the arena when they're here. I think it's gonna close first, then lock. So you unlock and open, but then you close and lock. So you kind of do it in a reverse order. So yeah, when they step in here, this door closes and then it locks. And then, the player is then in the arena and they can't get out. Now, the other thing we need to do is when the player enters this thing, or when the player hits this thing, we need this to reactivate this thing if it becomes deactivated at any point. So if the player needs to try again, for example, this thing has to be set to just activate this other one. Now, unfortunately, you can't set these to deactivated by default, but it would be really good. Now, the other thing we need to do, of course, is set a timer here so that when the player steps into this big blue area, it's going to start this timer. And then we don't want it to activate and we don't want it to repeat. And then 1 second later, this timer is then going to deactivate this area. So because essentially what's going to happen is this area here controls the spawns and everything, right? So we want this to be deactivated when the player is in the arena, so that then if they run back into this section, it's not going to re-trigger all the arena spawns again, because otherwise that's going to be slightly problematic. And we don't particularly want that to happen. So yeah, I'm gonna probably put this timer just in the corner here, because then if the player then ends up respawning outside here and steps into this thing after it's been deactivated, this area here will then activate this one, and then away you go, which is great. So that's absolutely fine. Now the other thing we need to do as well is we need to make this thing. I need to actually get on my notepad because I got all my triggers and stuff in a document, so I can kind of keep track of everything. Because there's a lot of this arena has a lot of different triggers and stuff. So in the Haze arena, which is the fourth one, we need to essentially send a signal to the 99th channel. So we need to make a transmitter. Because on channel 99 essentially is where the crowd cheering turns on. So I need to link this to here, and then on channel 99, it's going to activate that, and then this guy is going to be set to activate channel 99, which will turn the cheer sounds on when the player enters the arena, right? So essentially, when they step here, the doors open, the cheering starts, and then they step in, and then the fights begin. So now they're in the arena, we can essentially go ahead and set up the the fights and everything of all the creatures. So again, I've kind of got this in a Google Doc. So let's go ahead and or in some kind of notepad thing. So essentially, what we're gonna do is the first wave, because it's my theory was, because it's the first wave and this is meant to be a haze filled area with gas and stuff, first wave is going to be stink bugs, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to get this linked to another timer. Are you able to publish the doc? No, because you'll know what's coming. That's not good. I gotta make sure you guys have a bit of a surprise. I do want to make easy, normal, and hard versions of this as well. Guy says, "Oh, fair enough." Says, "I love that Max's mic placement provides so much insight into the thought process. When he's debating on evaluating options, he has to look closely at the screen, and he gets close to the mic. When the process is completed and he's elaborating, he relaxes and moves back in the chair, taking his voice slightly further back, like taking a deep breath of comfort and relaxation." Well, honestly, this is the only place I can really set it up without getting right in front of my face, because unfortunately I can't sit right back, right, because it just doesn't work. Kind of says I assumed it was a how-to. Oh no, I will be going through a how-to, the doc I have is more for my own reference, to be these creatures spawn in this arena, this teleporter links here, kind of thing. That's what this document thing is about. But for people who are wanting a how-to thing, I can definitely do that as well. I'll probably be making a video on how to make an arena as well, with bugs and wave spawns and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll essentially cover that as well, because I do want to make an arena where I can just press a button and it will spawn something on a player, so I can control what they fight and stuff like that. Whereas this one is more it's going to be for a one player to just come in and they don't need another player to spawn stuff in on them. Kind of says we need all the tutorials. Well, if you guys can think of what things you'd like to see in a tutorial, please let me know in kind of says safety first. But yeah, please let me know if there's things you'd like to see in a tutorial, because I'll be happy to go ahead and have a go. Right, so this thing is not going to start on the thing, and when the player goes into here, essentially when the player comes into this thing, it starts this timer, and this first timer essentially is going to control when the first wave of bugs spawns in. So we're going to put this timer in the middle here. Now we have to put the spawn, unfortunately, we cannot direct the spawners exactly where to spawn the creatures. So essentially we're going to have to put the spawner in the middle and sort of hope for the best. That randomized one for sure. Yeah, the randomizer I'll definitely be doing a tutorial on, because yeah, that one did require quite a lot of thinking. So here's what we do. So in wave one, we're going to go ahead and spawn in 2 sting bugs. So that's really easy. All we're going to do is we're going to go and set a spawner right here, link the timer up so that once the timer has elapsed, it spawns creatures. And then the creatures we want to spawn in is sting bugs. And in this arena, we want 2 of them because there's a lot of place for the player to kind of get around. So there's going to be 2 in here.
To deliver.
There you go. Hal says, tutorial. Max Fox explains the birds and the bees. Well, I mean, I can explain the bees in Grounded, but I don't know about the crow. So that guy's got a bit of a big pecker, you know. I don't know if that'll make for good viewing content on YouTube. All right, so there we go. So we're going to spawn the sting bug. So yeah, as soon as we step in, spawns a sting bug, and then, or it spawns 2 of them. Says that's not allowed on YouTube, hell. this guys, yeah, I know, right? I think kind of we'll be starting on a tutorial on how to effectively watershed Max. that's probably what he'll start off. So yeah, let me move this over so it's a bit neater. So yeah, this will spawn 2 sting bugs, and then we're gonna go grab another timer here. And when these sting bugs are killed, it's going to send a signal. So on creatures killed, it's going to go ahead and start this timer. And it's going to send a thing into the next wave, right? So yeah, if you just want a wave of one type of creature, this is very simple and trivial to do. But if you want some stuff to, if you want like wave spawns in amongst your other stuff, I'm going to show you how to essentially set that up and do that. So the next thing we want to do is I want to have it so that it's going to spawn a wave of 3 infected lava, but every now and then a load of infected weevils are also going to come around and try and kill the player. So that's going to be the next wave. So again, we're going to get a creature spawner first. Let's do the infected lava first. So first of all, we're going to set it so that 3 infected lava just pop in to the arena. So we're going to grab this guy. And then we need to find the infected lava, which is this guy. And we want 3 of these, right? So simple enough, you know, spawn in three infected lava. And there we go. I'm actually going to move this a little bit further over. Now, what I want to do is I want to make this timer trigger another timer. So we're going to have to, unfortunately, like put it down here. So that after the infected lava spawn in, this timer is going to begin as well. And this timer we're going to be on a repeat. And then it's going to have a bit of a delay at first. So we're going to say like it's going to have like a 20-second delay. And then every 40 seconds after that. So first of all, it's going to take a minute. And then every 40 seconds after that, it's going to go in and start spawning infected weevils as well, right? So we're going to go ahead and put in another spawner, kind of like right next to this one. And then this guy is going to then start spawning in infected weevils every like 40 or so seconds. So as long as those lava are still alive, infected weevils are going to start coming into the arena as well to try and explode the player. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's put, since these guys you can just walk into and let them die, we're going to put quite a lot of these guys in. There's going to be a lot of infected weevils that come in. Right. So there we go. So we got that set up and we got that one. Now, essentially what we want to do is once these lava have all died, we want to stop this timer, right? So that's the other thing we've got to make sure. So once the lava have died, this timer needs to stop so that the other waves stop as well, right? So there we go. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to detect when both of the lava and the infected weevils are dead as well. Hal says, "Lurk, be right back." No worries, Hal. Thank you so much for your like, dude. Very much appreciated. And thank you so much for giving all the milk and cookies to all of our lurkers too. Very much appreciated, Hal. So what we want to do then is we need to essentially detect when both of these conditions are true. So of course, we're going to need some counters and an AND gate. So here we go. So first of all, let's go and get a counter with a condition. We're going to need 2 of these. I need 2 of these and 2 of these. And then essentially what we're going to do is we're going to say that when this timer begins at first, it's going to essentially when nothing is spawned in, we need it to say that, well, essentially that means if we kill the lava quick enough, the weevils have not spawned in. So technically they've already died, right? So essentially what we need to do is when these guys spawn in, we need to make one of these counters equal to 1, right? So we're going to set a value. We're gonna set a value here, and we're going to set that value equal to 1. All right. So that's going to happen. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to set this thing to go back to 0 if a wave spawns in. And this timer controls when the waves spawn. So we're going to link this to this guy. And we're going to say when the wave spawns in, essentially, once that timer has elapsed, this is going to go set to a value and it's going to go back to 0, which implies that the weevils haven't been killed yet. Then when the weevils have all been killed, we're going to go ahead and come back up here. And essentially, we can just increment the counter because we want it to fire an event. So we can't, in this case, we cannot set a value. We have to increment it because otherwise the counter doesn't fire on a set change. So we have to essentially evaluate that instead. So once we've done that, we then need to also detect when the infected larvae have been killed, right? So when the infected larvae have been killed, this counter right over here is going to go ahead and increment, and that's just going to go up to a value of 1. And then once we got all these things done together, we then just need to get one of those logic gates. So we're going to get one of these logic gates and set that to all. So we'll set it to all. And then when both the infected larvae have died and that counter is equal to 1, and when the infected weevils have died and that counter is equal to 1, well, there you go. That means essentially it's then going to fire a signal which can then start the next wave. Which is, you know, a little bit tricky to set up and explain, and you can see there's lots of lines and arrows everywhere. But essentially, that's how you can then say only after this and this has died do we then trigger the next wave of creatures, right? So that's kind of how we need to make this work. So let's go ahead and move these over here, and then we'll go ahead and move these over here. There you go. But that should work then. But yeah, essentially when these have spawned, that'll set it to 1, and then the next wave will begin when the AND gate is set to fire. So we'll move this over, and then essentially this then links to the next timer to spawn in the next wave of creatures. So let's go put another timer over here. Remove all these links, and then we want the signal output from the AND gate to go ahead and start this next timer, which will give a 5-second delay and then spawn in the next load of creatures. So there we go. So it's going to start the timer. This timer is, I believe, set to 5 seconds. Yes, it is. And then we're ready for wave number 3. So yeah, when it comes to wave spawns, as you can see, the complication does increase by quite a bit. How you doing, Badger and Bournemouth fan? Welcome to the stream. It has been a long time. How you been over on the tubes? How you doing, dude? Thank you so much for popping in. It has been ages, hasn't it? Oh my god, fucking hell! Is it Grave? Welcome in, Grave. How you doing? Scaring me with the bloody Shelby sneeze over here. How's it going, Grave? Welcome in. All right, so third wave is going to be an infected ladybug and 4 infected gnats. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that one done. So again, this is going to be a very similar process, right? So first of all, let's go set up the creature spawner. So first of all, we'll set it for an infected ladybug. And here we go. So we'll set 1 infected ladybug here, just the one for this round. And that timer is going to set that spawner to go straight away, right? Grave says, Agent of Chaos reporting for duty. How you been, Grave? How you been keeping well, dude? How are you? All right, and then again, we're gonna start spawning in infected gnats in this next wave, right? So for this, again, we need to get another timer. So I guess I'll use this timer we set up before and just remove these links currently. So again, it's going to be a very similar kind of setup. So once this timer starts and spawns in these creatures, let me actually move the creature spawn light over here so it's kind of aligned. We're also going to send another signal from this timer to this timer, right? And then I think for this one, because infected gnats are a little bit more cumbersome to kill off, we're going to set this timer to 60 seconds and have a delay of 25. So it's going to be like less infected gnats are going to spawn in, but it's going to be a bit more delayed, right, when they come in. And then what we're going to do again is set up a creature spawner for these infected gnats as well. So first of all, let's go set that up. So we'll grab a creature spawner, and we will... Oh, I didn't want to move you there. I kind of wanted to move you over one. So Control Z to undo. I love the undo feature, which is very, very nice. Kind of just giving Pentatonics a shout out. Thank you so much for popping in, Pentatonics. How are you doing today? Welcome on in. We're currently making a haze style arena with complete with creature spawns and everything. So let's see how this goes. So this one we want infected gnats to spawn in, and I think we'll have 3 every like 60 seconds or so. 3 infected gnats will spawn in to try and disarm the player. So that'd be pretty good. So we'll do that, and then we're going to link this timer to this. All right. So that's set to. That needs to be set to start timer, not toggle the timer, because we don't want it to shut off accidentally. And same with this one. So these big long arrows going between these things is for starting the timer. Because yeah, toggle is a bit weird, and I wish by default it just said start. But let's see how I go. Grace says, all right, trying to get more awake for work later. How are you doing, my friend? I'm doing pretty good. I've been working on an arena, and we're working on like the arena number 4, which is the haze one. So yeah, it's gonna be like for people who want to come in and just like fight off waves and waves of bugs, and yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be pretty fun. So, but I'm glad to hear you're doing well, dude, and hopefully you've been sleeping a bit better as well, because I know things have been kind of rough over there. But yeah, hopefully things have been getting better as well. All right, so is that looking good? That's fine. Right, so then what we need to do is, first of all, we need to make it so that when the infected ladybug is killed, this timer stops so that the infected gnats don't keep spawning in, right? So that needs to stop the timer. And therefore, no more infected gnats will come and spawn in. Now we need to detect, essentially, when all these creatures have been killed. So again, we're going to need those counters and we're going to need the counters, and we're going to need something. We're going to need the gates as well, aren't we? So I'll go ahead and add a couple of new counters here. So I'll add 2 counters with conditions. So we'll set 1 there and 1 there for now, and we can kind of just like approximate what we need to do. So the first thing we need to do is, when this wave of creatures spawns in, we want to set this counter to 1. Now, essentially, we're setting this to 1 because this counter here is going to keep track of whether the infected gnats have been killed off or whether they've not spawned yet. If either of those 2 conditions are true, this counter needs to be at 1. So all we're going to do is we're going to grab this one, and we're just going to say set value, and then we're going to just set that value to 1, right? And that's fine. So yeah, when this thing first spawns in, technically the infected gnats haven't spawned in, so they have technically been killed off. So that means this needs to be at 1. We also need to make sure that when the infected gnats do spawn in from this timer, this then gets reset back to 0. So we need to then go ahead and set the value on this counter, and this needs to be set back to 0. Thirdly, when the infected gnats have been killed, again, this counter is going to increment because we don't want to set it to 1. We want to increment it to 1 because that will make the counter fire an event that gets evaluated by the next gate. And then finally, we need to go to the infected ladybug here. When these guys are killed off, we go to this counter right here, and then we just increment the value by 1. And then finally, we wrap all of that up in a logic gate, and then we can move to the next wave. So let's go ahead and grab this one. And we will grab one of these logic gates, put this guy right here, and then you go into here, you go into here. We need to set this logic gate, of course, to all, so that both of these conditions have to be true. And then once it is, then the wave is over, and then we spawn the next one. And there we go. So as you can see, like the wave spawning is a little bit tricky, but it's totally possible to do. Right. So next up, what do we have next? Okay, so next up, what else do we find in the haze apart from infected creatures? We also find wolf spiders in the haze, right? So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and make a wolf spider spawn. And there we go. Says, how you doing? How you doing? It's Admo. Welcome to the stream. Or sorry, it's Andmo. Sorry, I totally mispronounced your name. Then how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Welcome in. And Fentonix says, I'm okay. How are you, Max? I'm doing very well, thank you, Fentonix. Glad you're doing well as well. And I think we have. I think the beautiful coffee queen has returned because I can hear some motion out there. And, I hear some motion in the ocean. Right. Let's go ahead and make our way over here. And here we go. Let me move this clock back here a little bit so it's a little bit easier to kind of check the layouts. All right. And then I'm going to kind of compact this layout just a little bit so we can, make sure all the creatures at least spawn in the middle of the map, right? So that'll be good. So yeah, I'll put the all gate back over here. So yeah, it kind of compacts it a little bit more, but we do need the creature spawns to be in the middle of the map, right? Let's see. Says you lost me. Glad I ain't making one of these arenas that need to be programmed. But that's the thing. Like learning this stuff is actually very, very fun. Like it's actually super fun to do this. Rook says I feel like I'm in an advanced graphical design class. Your brain is scary. Kaya says the possibilities you have now is amazing. Are you by the coast? By the coast? By the coast is I'm certainly not by the coast. I don't know if Gray's by the coast. He might be. Rick says no. I read the one about being like an advanced graphics class. Yeah, it's like programming, isn't it? Really, it's fun though. Okay, so next up we need to make the next wave spawn. So let me go grab another one of these timers, and first of all we'll remove these links. So once these lot have been killed off, it then goes ahead and sends a signal to the next timer. And this one, again, we're going to just spawn in wolf spiders and spiderlings. So this one is going to have 2 wolf spiders and 2 spiderlings. Kind of says it's easy programming. It's so satisfying. Not going to lie. We don't have to read matrix codes. Honestly, I find actual programming a little bit more intuitive, just because I'm used to it, I guess. But I think for like people who have never really programmed before, this will be very, very intuitive. So it is a good thing. Says he thinks coding is fun too. I think it's terrifying. It's not that bad. Coding is great. All right, so let's go and trigger our next spawner. So next spawner is going to be here, and this one is going to be for 2 wolf spiders. So let's go set the spawner, and 2 wolf spiders are going to spawn in. So there's the wolf spider. There is 2 of them. There we go. So the timer is going to go ahead, and once the timer has elapsed, it's going to spawn in these 2 wolf spiders, And there we go. So that's good. Next up, we're going to go ahead and we want to also have this thing spawn spiderlings every now and then as well. Says, let's see, I'd rather play that code. I'd rather play the code than read or make the code. Says, oh, I agree, Carnage, but I'm no good at the programming stuff. See, that's the thing though. It offers like that. Like a lot of this stuff is, it kind of the only difficult thing are these logic gates. Everything else is pretty easy. You just send it. Essentially, you link things up. You send something to somewhere, and it does something. That's pretty much all it is. So, like in simple terms, like say if I got like a pressure plate, you put down a pressure plate, you put down like a trap. Like this, and essentially you link the pressure plate to the trap, and then essentially when player steps on this thing goes boom, kills player, right? That's essentially at its core, that's the basics of this mode at its core. The only reason why this is more advanced is because I'm using logic gates to kind of come up with certain things. Teddy, get out, get off. What is your affiliation with that tiger, huh? You want to chew out that tiger, don't you? What is your deal? Third time now, I told him to get down, deep little bugger. What is your deal with the tiger, huh? What is your deal with the tiger? Why do you want to chew it up? You got your bone down there. You got plenty of other stuff. He's chewing my finger now. It's a little chewer he is. Says it's pretty simple, to be honest. Max is obviously making it complicated because Max requires it too. Yes, I need it to be complicated. I always need the complications and the complexities because those things are, of course, very, very super fun. And I just find it more fun. So here we go. So what you mean is Max is making it complicated because it's Max. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because it's me. Yeah, because it's him. It's complicated. All right, so let's go ahead and make this thing, make another one of these other spawner timers. And I'm going to go ahead and remove all these current links. This timer we're just going to set a little bit up here as well. Obviously, we want it to repeat. And after 12 seconds, and then for every 30 seconds after that, it's going to start spawning in spiderlings to accompany the wolf spiders, right? That's what we're going to do. Kind of says, and it works. And I want to play it. And it says it just works. Yeah, that's the thing. It's so good. It's so good. And there you go. Yeah, I see. Okay, he's on his bed now. That's good. Good boy, Teddy. You're on bed now. Okay, there we go. That's fair. So yeah, essentially, once this thing triggers, it's going to spawn in this one and then start this timer off as well, right? So that's the thing. So then once that timer goes off, and it's gonna repeat every now and then. I'm going in the wrong tab. We need another creature spawner here, and we'll set this one up like right over here, and then this guy is going to go ahead and spawn in spiderlings, right? So this is going to be, we just want some regular old spiderlings to come in and accompany the wolf spider in the battle, right? So we're going to go ahead and set this timer to spawn the spiderlings when the time elapses. Now, the other thing we need to do is we need to make sure that when the wolf spiders are dead, this timer stops, right? Because once the wolf spiders are dead, we don't want these waves to continue spawning. So when these guys die, we go ahead and stop the timer. So there we go. So we don't want that to, and also this needs to be set to start timer and not toggle timer as well. So yeah, once those guys are dead, it stops the timer. And then let's just make sure these things are set to start as well. They are. So yeah, these guys die, the wolf spider dies, spiderlings stop being spawned in by this timer. That's good. And now we just need to make the logic to detect when everything is dead so we can move on to the next wave. That's pretty much all we need to do now. So again, we're going to get the counters and the AND gates. So essentially, a lot of this is like, I really wish we could like make our own, like, because as you can see, like a lot of this is like this and this and this are all the same thing. So it would be nice, like in the future, if we could make like a gizmo that stores like a circuit inside it, and then we could just make it trigger. That'd be so good. I have to go back and rewatch this whole stream. I miss a second of what Max is doing, and I get lost. I'm sorry, but I can walk you through each of the steps as I go, because I'm trying to explain it as I go along. So if people have like had to step away and then come back, they can see like more so what's going on. But yeah, if you get lost, this thing is on YouTube as well, so you will be able to go ahead and see. You'll be able to go ahead and see what's going on from there too. All right, so essentially what we want to do is this counter starts at 0, and we want to make sure that once this timer starts, essentially we need to assume initially that all of the spiderlings or all of the ads are dead, right? We need to assume they're already dead. So when this timer starts, essentially this thing we need to set to 1. So we need to set the value, and it needs to be set to 1. And there we go. Right, so there we go. So we'll set the value. that gets set to 1. We don't want it to fire an event yet. We just want it set to 1. So come on, there. So yeah, this thing gets set to 1. Next, we want to make sure that when the things get spawned in, which this timer controls, it gets set back to 0 because now the spiderlings and the ads are no longer dead, right? So then this is going to go and get set back, and we're going to set a value, and this value is now 0. Now, of course, when we've killed the spiderlings off, we want to make sure that the counter records that that thing has been killed until the next wave. So then this is going to increment to 1, so it also fires an event, just in case we've killed the wolf spiders first. Because we always want this thing to fire and increment. And then finally, we set up a thing between these two. The arrow is very difficult to see, but it's right there. And then these guys, once the wolf spiders are dead, this counter increments to 1, and then you're good, right? So once it's incremented to 1, counter is set, everything is good to go. And then, yeah, after that, it's pretty good to go into, we then get one of these logic gates again. We go ahead and then check that both of these conditions are true. So if that's equal to 1, and if that's equal to 1, then essentially this wave is done, and we're ready to move on to the last wave. So there we go. So then for the last wave, we should be pretty good. It says details mega tutorial. Yeah, I do have a mega tutorial as well. Thank you, kind of posting that as well. So yeah, I did make a mega tutorial pretty much on like how to do all this stuff as well. So yeah, for the final wave, we want to have essentially the infected ladybug boss fight from the Haze Lab, right? So you're going to have an infected ladybug, infected lava, and infected mites, right? So that's going to be, so this one is going to be a three-way wave. But I think for this one, I'm going to make it so that once the lava and the mites are dead, they don't continue to spawn in. So this one's not going to be as an advanced wave, but it's still going to be pretty difficult. And Rick is like, math brain, I'm sorry. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to go and do this, and then let's go ahead and get rid of this guy. And then this guy over here is going to come into this timer, and we're going to set that one to start the timer. There we go. So yeah, then 5 seconds later after this thing is done, it's going to spawn in the last wave. So here we go. So all we need to do for this one is a little bit simpler because it's going to spawn, I think this one's going to spawn everything in together, right? So we're just going to spawn everything in one go. So we're going to have one spawner for infected ladybugs, one for infected lava, one for infected mites. So all these 3 together, and this timer is just going to kick off the lot. So we're going to set these guys to kick everything off, and then just set the spawners up. So we need an infected ladybug, just one of them. This one, we want to have infected mites, and there's going to be 8 of those. And then this one, we want to have infected lava, and there's going to be 4 of these guys. So yeah, we're just going to pretty much summon in everything together for the final wave. And then all we need to do is just detect when all of these things are dead, right? So I think for these, I think we can link this directly into a gate, can't we? Can we link a spawner directly into a gate? No. Okay, so we need to essentially record when it's done. So essentially all we need to do then, we could use counters or switches for this, but I think we'll just use a counter. We'll go ahead and we need 3 counters, essentially, like this. So we'll get 3 counters here. And essentially every time this one, once each of these ones dies, it sets the counter to 1. So we set that one to 1. We set that one to 1. These are automatically set to increment, so that's fine. So we just need to kind of put these in. This will be a lot simpler because these guys are not going to respawn, so we don't have to worry about extra timers or anything like that. And then once all of those guys have done, we want to make sure that each of these has been killed off. Actually, is that set to an all gate? Yes, it is. Let's just copy this one. Copy that one, remove these links. And then once all these guys are killed, then that's essentially wave over, right? And then we're done. So once we killed it, that's the final thing done. And then we're ready to go ahead and, evaluate what we need to do next. So I'm going to keep this all gate kind of over in the back here, because that's like the last thing in the chain. And we are good. I used to think I was patient with most things until I met you, says Rook. I wish I could take a line from scoreboards too. You can just set a counter in front of the scoreboard, and then you can take the line from that. So essentially what you do, if you want to do it like with a scoreboard, so say we got our scoreboard and we go ahead and do, I don't know, we do it like right there. You can't take a line directly from a scoreboard, but what you can do is, say if I got a switch here and it increments the scoreboard every time I press it. All you do says, I just wish it went past 10. Well, that's what you can do, is you can use 2 counters, one to record the units and one to record the tens, right? So you could have some kind of logic that says if the counter's 10 and you press the button again, it then increments another counter to 1 and then the next one to 1 as well. So you have like 11. So you can then record the thing of 2 counters. And then you have to set the tens and units values separately to get your output. But yeah, this using a single counter only works to 10. I know I'm patient, but this is patience on a level far beyond mine, says Grave. But yeah, what you technically do for scores up to 10, you just go ahead and set this into this and then set that to increment a counter as well. And then when it gets to a certain amount, you go from that, right? It says, oh, and decrements the other by 10. Genius. Yeah, exactly. So that's what you would do. That is literally all you would do. And thank you so much, Rick, for your lurk. Very much appreciated. Gonna move to my phone and lurk while I clean. No worries, Rick. But yeah, essentially that's what you would do. Yeah, you would like, so for counting up to 10, you would just use something like this, but then, you know, more complicated than that. For scores over 10, you would then make a circuit to increment or decrement. Figure says, I'm not focused. What are we making? We're making an arena, and we're figuring out like all the creature spawns and everything like that. So the other thing I want to happen is, of course, once the wave is completed, we need to take the signal and we need to open these 2 doors again, right? So we need to make sure that both of these doors are open. So let's go and set one to that door. And then one to this door. So yeah, once the wave is done, the doors need to open up again. So let's go into first person. It'll be probably easier to target the door through here, because I think these things kind of stop you targeting the doors. We also want to disable this this thing that loads the arena up. So this thing also has to be disabled. Right, so there we go. So then we go grab this one, and then we're going to say that this door will, first of all, it will unlock, and then it will open again. There we go. And then the same for the door on the other side. So this door will go ahead and unlock, and then it will go ahead and open. So, and then the other thing for the trigger volume, we want to disable the trigger volume, right? So we deactivate it, because otherwise what's going to happen is if we walk back through here, it will open the door and start the entire process again, and we don't want that to happen. And we have a resub from Comic Green! Thank you so much, baby, for your resub. Aww. How you doing, baby? Welcome back, by the way. I know you're back. I hope you're doing all right, baby. Thank you so much. Here she is, guys. Well, I have a coffee cup, but unfortunately it's empty. But here we go, guys. Well, guys, it's time to raise the coffee cups and stick them in the air and give Coffee Queen a quick for the Coffee Queen. Coco says 22 buttons. I know, right? Greg's like, hi, Coffee Queen. How you doing, baby? Woo! How you doing, my love? Welcome back. All right, and Kaya's like, hey, Kaga and Kaya just dancing it up. There we go. Kaya would be like, oh, get it! I can totally see that happening as well. All right. So what we need to do now, essentially, is just trigger it so that when we need to have a couple of sound things in here so that when the do I have that set up on a trigger, or do I need to set these up separately? I probably should set them up on a trigger, honestly, but that's fine. Let me just see. So we got activate hedge, that's teleporters. I need to like consult my notes real quick. Channels, no, okay, so we need to make like separate spawners. Okay, so what we need to do, we want to make it so that every time that a wave is passed, we want like a cheering sound, right? So we want the audience to be like, hey, you know, because we passed a wave. So for that we can use one of these sound things. So we actually use 2 of these. So we're going to use one here and one here. And then here we go. Cocoine says roast chicken and chips and gravy. Oh, says Max, I'm giving a 5-minute food warning. Thank you very much, baby. Yeah, I need to take him outside as well. So I'll go ahead and come down in just a second. But yeah, so for after every wave, we want to go ahead and make it so that we have like an applause after it. So add like an applause, and we'll set that to infinite. And then essentially, we need to take this after every creature's been killed. So for the first wave, we just pick it up from when the actual creature's been killed, right? So for the first one, we pick it up from when we killed the stink bugs. From the second wave and beyond, we need to pick it up from the AND gate, right? So we need to go to the AND gate here, and we need to pick it up from there. So that essentially, because remember, the AND gates here are keeping track of when all the creatures have been killed, right? So we need to do it from these. So yeah, from each of these switch gates, we need to go ahead and put these into here. That's the second one. The third one is over here. And that's 2 and 3, so we need the fourth one. So the fourth switch gate is right over here. And we're going to go ahead and do that one. And of course, the 5th switch gate is actually right back here, so we can just grab this guy. There you go, so we'll grab this one. And then we'll go ahead and add that one. But then also, when we've done the last round, we want to trigger like another kind of like congratulations kind of sound. So there's this nice like arcade kind of blip that you can do. I think it's the 4th one. There we go. And we'll set that to a large range and set it up a bit. There you go. Or maybe a bit lower than that. There you go. I think I set it to 1.5, didn't I? Yeah, there we go. We'll set it to that. And then essentially, once we've done wave 5, this sound will also play as well. And you'll be like, hey, you know, because we've done the wave. Spoilers says simpler. Bah, carnage. Says Max has made it simpler. You need a coffee. And the guy is like, yes, Queen, yes. Chicken skin is the best. Yes, it is. But yeah, says, do you like the chicken skin? Yes, the chicken skin is very, very good. There we go. But guys, I'm going to have to cut to a BRB though, because I think, well, first of all, I need to get some foods. And second of all, I think I've got to take this little bugger outside, because he is on the bed again. Get out, you bugger. Stop getting on the bed. You know better. Little bugger, he's up there. I just heard like a random sniffling, like I was like, that doesn't sound like it's below me. I was like, huh, what's going on? Little bugger, he's always doing that. But yeah, essentially when you win, it will play that kind of stinger. And then the only thing we have to do then is set the teleporter back here to take you to the prize room, right? That's the only thing we have to do. But I haven't made that teleporter just yet, so you know we have to come back to that in a bit. But yeah, let me cut to a BRB.